What's up, everyone? We did it! We made it through Christmas! Welcome to the Normal America Show. Your host, robnoerr. What is today? Saturday. Normally, I do a daytime show during Saturday, if I do one at all. But I was busy today, finishing up my Christmas stuff, and so I had a great time. I did a little stream last night to sort of explain what I'd been up to, but man, yeah, the chair's back. That's why am I even bullshitting? That's the chair's back. Who else cares about anything else? You know? Here he is, chair. Maybe I'll do a chair stream tomorrow. Oh man. Look at this. First time watching. I'm having a great night. Thanks for being here. We'll have some fun. We'll talk about this story in Minnesota everyone's talking about. I'll give my take on that. And yeah, away we'll roll. So my Christmas, if you didn't tune in last night, my Christmas was amazing. One of the things is my wife's mom and dad are split up. They're still good friends, but that gives you three families that we are spending Christmas with. And so my parents did come up Christmas Day, but we were supposed to do like our special Christmas stuff with them last Friday. We had an ice storm. So we rescheduled to today where we go to like the Christmas store and all that good stuff. And we got an ice storm last night, but by this morning it was okay. So yeah, I was hanging out with my family, my brother and my mom and dad and my wife and my son all day today. And it was a lot of fun. And I don't know what to say. I have the best family in the world, and if it was up to me, I'd spend every single day with them. I absolutely love them. So luckily for me, I get to spend most days with them, at least a portion of those days. So I hope you all had as blessed of a Christmas as me. Got to spend it with family and loved ones. And got to just, reflect on how lucky we are. God's given me so much. And I'm so lucky to have it. So it was truly a tremendous Christmas for me. Now, of course, New Year's Eve coming up. That's my wife's birthday is New Year's Eve. And then my son's birthday is January 9th. So after that, sort of in the swing of things, moving forward. Of course, I'll miss my son's birthday because I will be out in Atlantic City for Word War, is what's will be going on. So I can't wait to actually give you some more details about that. I think the great Sam Tripoli will be joining me at some point this week, and we're going to shoot the breeze and talk about all things Word War. Oh, Lavin, thank you so much, man. Unbelievable. In more ways than you know. We'll get to that super chat and any others in a moment here. But yeah, so and then today my son got some more gifts than my parents got him out at the Christmas store, and we watched almost all of the old Disney Hercules movie, the animated one. It is a blast. My son's getting more into. Yeah, it's obviously a kids movie, but he's getting older. It's not so much like Coco Melon or Bluey. Now it's stuff that I could get into a little more. I can't wait to do Batman and Spider-Man and all that good stuff, the Avengers. So man, truly just a fantastic day though. I saw Tone said that Andrew got smacked around on the TikTok invasion last night. Really? And he says, just kidding. I didn't watch. I had the spottiest reception. All you could get in my in-laws' place is like one spot in the corner of the guest room. And so that's where I remained. You like this hat? Yeah. Merch store should be done soon. So I'm committed to sort of getting some projects off in the air that I've been stalling on, including the merch store. Now, in fairness, I haven't been stalling. It's been more the merch guy. He told me that it would be ready the day after Thanksgiving. Here we are. So, you know, I don't plan on taking call-ins, but I may. It just depends on how late we go. I love that Hercules movie too. James Woods as Hades. He's great. James Woods, as far as I'm concerned, underrated actor. He definitely has a style. He's always played this like frenetic uh guy, but like he plays the same guy, but it's amazing how varied it could be. Like he's a funny, menacing villain in the Hercules movie. He's a horrible deadbeat in Casino, but he's playing like the same guy. Uh, of course, I haven't watched it for years, but Videodrome, crazy movie, super creepy. I love Salvador. It's a great movie with him. Um, and then the John Carpenter Vampires, where he's like a badass, but he's always playing like a very similar guy. It's just amazing how he could, uh, by just slight changes in his tone, go from being like a deadbeat to like a badass hero to like a menacing villain. It's really amazing. I'll avoid the ICP. I have enough drama in my life. I don't need to get the I don't need to get the juggalos pissed at me too. He was blacklisted. He's sort of based, yeah, definitely like a base conservative dude. So we only have one super chat right now, but it's a doozy. Our friend Lavin, $200. The absolute legend that he is. Now, legend enough to give $200, which is unbelievable. But to go above and beyond and say, Merry Christmas, Rob, my present to you is no whip songs. Down with the whip. My goodness. You have no idea how much it means to me. Thank you so much. Wade Boggs Christmas harmed the most by it, but I love it. No whip song to worry about tonight. Unless someone donates another $200, which I'm pretty confident won't happen tonight. So we are good to go. Of course, I've never seen the Onion Fields, but yeah, the Whip Empire Strikes Back. Oh, I hear my wife and my son downstairs. What is he doing up? It's 10. He should be in bed. I'll play this at least one more time tonight when more people come in. But I mentioned, I'll mention two things real quick before we get into the political stories of the night. First is, as mentioned before, I'm still working with Word War. Had a very productive meeting today. I'm getting a lot of connections that I think is going to really help out. Not just this show, just so you know, like my priorities in life are head and above is working on myself as a Christian, a father, and a husband. That is the most important thing. And that includes attending church more, doing more projects around the house, spending more productive time with my family, getting in better physical health. I've been losing some weight, but I want to continue to do that. So that's number one, far and away. And then the other two projects I have are working on this channel and working on politics. And a lot of times those overlap, but sometimes they don't. So I'm committed to trying to do what I can here in Pennsylvania and elsewhere to win elections here in the midterms. I'm going to be doing my best. I've reached out to some people and I'm going to be working with some people in Pennsylvania here to try to drive up the vote, encourage people to get out and vote, and working with messaging on a lot of people. But then also got a lot going on with the channel and projects I'm working on with that, both with myself and with the Crucible. So that's sort of where I'm at starting the new year. And the two projects I'm able to talk about right now is first, I'm still working with Word War, and that's going to be January 10th is going to be the first event. You could get your tickets, and I hope that you will. We're going to have a Spaces coming up. Probably me and Erudite and Sam Tripoli and Gavin McInnes, or some combination thereof. We'll be doing some shows coming up to promote that. Of course, we'll be announcing the headliners of that soon. But so far we have two great debates, including Pearl Davis versus Anna Kasparian on a feminism topic, which I think is going to be amazing. So it's really going to be something to tune into. And I think that it's only going to sort of spiral momentum going from there. So I'm doing some more behind the scenes stuff, working on the debate script, the programming script, making sure all the debate stuff goes off without a hitch. So that's the first big thing. So it's taking time, though. It's definitely a project that I'm putting a lot of time and energy into. So that's number one. Number two is I I'm doing a project with Speakeazy. Now, if you don't know Speakeazy, great dude. He is host Verbal Combat, which is sort of a panel show that he has on Fridays. And I reached out to him, and he's going to set up a debate project. I did it once before with Jake Varr, who's tremendous, but Jake's been very busy, as have I. So what we're going to do is I'm going to set up with Speakeazy. It'll be like every other Thursday, and he will find a debate opponent for me that will pick a topic. Speakeazy will make sure it's a topic that he's pretty sure that I'll disagree with my opponent on. And then my opponent will get to prepare for that debate, and I will not. And I will show up on the day where the debate's supposed to happen, and that'll be it. I'll meet my opponent then. They'll tell me what the topic is and what my side of the debate is, and we'll just do a debate, about a 2-hour debate. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. Now, I'll probably play this one more time tonight, but I mentioned this last night, and people were like, "Did you see the video Speakeazy did for it?" Now, this is one of the most embarrassing videos. My wife doesn't always comment on everything that happens with my channel. She sent this video to her friends, and they've been making fun of me all day. So I will show you the video that I had nothing to do with this video. I think it's great. I really do. But man, just my wife's really giving me the business over this. So I will show you the video over on Speakeazy's channel. Here we go. Brace yourself if you haven't seen this. It's a good one. Here we go. Again, I stress this enough. I had nothing to do with this video.
No prep, no warning, no time to think. Walking cold, stand your ground, say what you believe. No script, no notes, no place to hide. Red actions drop, the room goes live. No prep. No prep. Two minds into one stance brace. No prep, no prep, no prep. No topic, no opponent name. Just pressure, just fire, just debate. No prep, no prep. No warm up, no safety net. You showed up, now defend it. This is no prep debate. No prep.
Speakeazy crushing it. Oh. We don't need to see it again. So there you have it. Now, he did me a lot of favors with some slimming effects there with it. Yeah, my wife's like, she's like, I wish I'd have married this guy with his jawline. Oh, man. Speakeazy, though, he's crushed it, dude. He's already got the format down. Speakeazy's one of my favorite people, man, that's streaming. He's so enthusiastic. It's infectious. Like when you watch him, when he's moderating or when he's debating, he's very enthusiastic. And I couldn't ask for someone to help me with this project more. So I'm looking forward to it. The first one is scheduled for January 15th. Now, there is a caveat to this, though. I am going to be traveling after Word War at some point in January. I'm hoping it's not the 15th. I think I'm going to be taking my talents down to Texas for a bit. So, and I'll be able to announce more about that later. I'm not sure when that'll be, but yeah, I'll be heading to Texas for some days. Maybe poke in, visit Andrew Wilson, do a couple other things that I think will be exciting for the show. So, but assuming it doesn't occur on the 15th, which I have no reason to believe it will, I just know that that is coming. So, otherwise, it'll be every other Thursday. Nor prep, right? Well, it's no prep, nor prep. Yeah. How do I think the midterms will go overall? It's so far away, man. It's hard to judge. I think that things are looking pretty good right now. And I think this Minnesota scandal that we're going to talk about, if it's properly played by Republicans, hint it won't be, plus the good economic data that we had coming out right now, if that holds going into 2006 or 26 midterms, it would look pretty good for Republicans to, I mean, that's the upside. The downside is historically, second term, controlling both the House and the Senate, the data doesn't lie. Historically, that president, his party gets pounded pretty bad in the midterms. So we'll see. And then, of course, it's such a fast news cycle. Who knows what we'll be talking about going into those midterms. But, yeah, that's just a bit. Couple super chats, and then we'll get going. Old Joe, $5, thank you. Says, most I can give at the moment, my friend. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Old Joe. It's always a pleasure to hear from you. Our good friend Zach Gilpy, winner of the hamburger versus hot dog debate. Bastard. Says, big guy tariff. Thank you, Zach. Really appreciate it, man. Marky Mark, $2 says, only way they might have a chance with no prep. Well, it's also means, dude, I'm doing so much work for other debates and other things behind the scenes, Word War, things with the Crucible, etc. I have so little time to invest in sort of my own preparation. So this is a nice way to not even have to worry about it. So Zach Gelpy again, $5 is badass. Thank you. And Adam Adamant, $10 says, we in Texas will be blessed to have you visit here. Thank you. I've only ever been there once when I qualified for the national debate tournament, and I was in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. But when you're traveling with debate, you rarely get to like visit anything neat. So, am I doing call-ins right now? Not right now. Marte, thank you so much. I saw your Christmas wishes, and I'm so sorry, dude. I'm so bad at responding at things. I'm the type of guy that like for the holidays, I just put this up. I would check it like once or twice a day real quick, but it just, I didn't want to pay attention to the news. I barely followed the news cycle, and I missed a lot of messages. Yesterday, when I was at my in-laws, I didn't have cell reception, and I saw that my good friend Carlos and Avarice both called me. And then today I was on the phone all day when I wasn't with my family, with Word War and what have. So, but thank you, Marte. I hope you had a great, great Christmas, and thank you for the well wishes. Naughty Germ, $5. As always, my friend, thank you. Says, can't watch but can support. Thank you, Naughty. And then look at that. Old Joe, another 5 says, I lied. Got a little more to give. Thank you. We're crushing it. We're already at 70%. I got a feeling we're going to hit 300% tonight. 300% of the goal. That's how great I'm feeling about tonight's show. Of course, if we don't, that's fine too. So, all right. Minnesota. I mean, it's a long video, but I think we should play at least a good, healthy chunk of it. Nick Shirley, absolutely crushing it. Young YouTuber. I think he's 22 years old. He's out there in Minnesota doing the work that none of our mainstream press will do. And there's so much to say about it. I don't even know where to begin. It's a topic that you could spend hours and hours and hours and hours and hours on. And we're going to watch his. That's funny, old Joe. We're going to watch at least a substantial portion of this video so you get the gist of what's going on there. Wade upset about the no whip policy. That's right. If you want a $50 whip song tonight, someone donated $200, the great Lavin. So no whip songs tonight unless someone matches that dono. Marcus White, $5. Really appreciate it. Marcus White Elwood. Thank you, man. Wear a cape more. Now, if you remember before I did my 24-hour stream, or I guess to kick off the 24-hour stream, I did a panel over on Admiral Gibbs' show. And it was me and Ryan Mullally, who's my co-host of the Law and Order show. And then we had average debate enjoyer Tyler was there, and Grid Motorsports. We were sort of on our side of the debate. And on the other side was Liberal Cluck, Radical Coder, and I forget the other gentleman's name. No offense to him. And we talked about the Somali fraud. At this point, what was known was it had to do with sort of these two programs, but there were several programs in addition to that had been in this lawsuit where I believe it was 72 named co-conspirators in this lawsuit. And the skinny of this was basically to this effect. There were programs involved food aid and programs involved medication aid, particular things like autism programs for that was being abused to the tunes of possibly billions of dollars. What was happening was they were setting up these fronts that actually weren't providing services, then taking this money and keeping it within these communities that were then enriching several folks there. Two of the people indicted were sort of non-Somali, and the rest were of Somalian heritage. So we did this debate, and we talked about the abuse, and the direction that that debate went is one that we should absolutely talk about, and we will talk about here tonight. And that was, first, we talked about the implications of Democrats on the ground, such as Tim Walz, Keith Ellison, Ilhan Omar, etc. But then the predominant direction we took the debate was mass importation of people from countries like Somalia in the first place, particularly through the refugee programs, and how it's not a good fit. These people don't align with us culturally. They seem to be a net drain on our system, not just through fraud, but also through the fact that so many of them are on welfare, etc. Now, if you remember, I said in my closing statement, the other area that I would have liked to have taken the debate, but unfortunately, with a big panel like that, if you only have an hour or two, you're limited in where you could take the discussion. But I would have liked to have taken it to a discussion of government spending in general and the amount of fraud that is all through it. And then, of course, since that 24-hour stream, this story has broken over the weekend, which just magnifies the Somali fraud case that's going on there in Minnesota in ways that are almost unimaginable. Now, we're going to play some of this video, but here's some things I want you to think of when you're watching this. One, look at how blatant the fraud is. I won't bury the lead. Basically, what he's doing is he's going to healthcare and childcare services. So Nick Shirley is with an older gentleman who started to see this fraud, and Nick Shirley's pretending to have a young son, and he's knocking on the door of these childcare places saying, I would like to enroll my son in your childcare. And almost every single place they go to doesn't have any children. And yet, if you look at the publicly available records, it'll say they have capacity for like 90 children and received $2.5 million the previous year. And yet, there's no sight of any children. And somehow they're giving millions of dollars. And this is occurring over and over. At one point, he goes into a place that's like a healthcare facility that's getting this government money. And in the brick and mortar location he is at, there are registered 17 independent healthcare services ran by Somalians that are receiving millions of dollars. And yet, no evidence of anyone receiving any care whatsoever. So the first thing I want you to look at is the extent of the fraud and then the blatantness of it. But I also want you to think about this. How is it possible that the local politicians didn't know? How did they not know? It is so blatant that a young 22-year-old YouTuber could go and, like that, could see it. And yet these politicians that are giving out millions of dollars, they had no clue. Are you surprised then when you see that audio I played the other day of Keith Ellison, where he's actually talking to some of the people that have been indicted in these frauds and receiving campaign donations from them? Are you surprised? See, it turns out when our tax dollars goes to fraudulent NGOs or fraudulent businesses, etc., all they do is kick that money back to politicians, and then surprise, surprise, nothing's ever done about it. We're the joke. We, the middle class. See, the rich, I saw someone posted this, the rich love the huge government system because they know how to exploit it. The poor, they get free shit. It's us, the working class. We're the ones that get screwed. And then another thing worth thinking. How is it that the media, particularly the local media there in Minnesota, but also the national media, how did they fail so hard? This is a Pulitzer Prize winning story. Billions upon billions of dollars in fraud, connections to the highest levels of government in that state. And somehow every national media and state level media just missed this story. They just missed it. And much like I talked about in that 24-hour stream, when you go and you look at the refugee community in the United Kingdom, and you saw these grooming gangs, what's one of the reasons, in fact, the predominant reason that it was allowed to occur for so long? Well, no one wanted to be called racist. You see, they'll do their 384th expose on Trump administration and anyone remotely connected to Trump at any point in his entire life, but they couldn't be bothered to see the blatant fraud that was right in front of their face. The media is not there to hold the powerful accountable, to hold truth to power. The media is there to bury the truth for the powerful. That's why they exist. As corrupt as our media is, and we can see them spread lies after lies after lies, the Fine People hoax, for example, the Trump-Russia collusion garbage, the Hunter Biden laptop looking like a Russian story, all the examples we could point to, the mostly peaceful riots that we saw under George Floyd. Probably even worse and a bigger sin that our media does than just making up bullshit hoaxes against the people they don't like is the stories they're refusing to cover. They just don't cover it. Is it the biggest fraud in history? I don't know about the Minnesota one. The biggest one caught? They're claiming that they've caught hundreds of billions of dollars in the COVID loans that went out that were fraudulent. So I want you to think about when you see how blatant and how expansive the fraud is from this video, how is it that all the media missed this? And once more, you get the same answer of how did the media miss Joe Biden's cognitive decline? How did most of the media miss and the Democrats miss the mass influx of illegals at the border? They didn't miss it. It wasn't a whoopsie, we're really bad at our job. They know what's going on, and it doesn't benefit them or their allies to report on it. The last thing I want you to think about is, you think that this fraud is the only type of fraud? It's so blatant here. You think this is the only fraud? You think it's limited to tax dollars? You don't think in Minnesota that it's not going to weasel its way into how they vote there? That there could be some sort of voting fraud? You don't think when government dollars are being thrown at even higher clips in places like New York, places like California, that there's no fraud going on there? Got several friends of the show that are truck drivers, like our friend How Long Nate. You've probably heard me say this many times if you've watched the show, watched the call-in show in particular. I have a lot of friends that are truck drivers, particularly that drive oversized load. It is insane the amount of regulations that you have to go through. I mean, absolutely crazy. from your physical health as a driver. You have to pass physicals every year. The amount of testing that you need to do to be able to drive the vehicle, the permits that you need to drive every specific road that you'll be taking. If you go even one alley off of your permit, you're breaking the law. The escort cars that you need, right down to how many, the lights on the top of the escort car, the inside has to rotate at a different speed than the outside for some states. And then you compare that to how they just leave people that can't even speak the language behind the wheel of these 18-wheelers. And I talk about this a lot. It's that double standard that's the most galling. Because you could be like, fine, we're going to live in like a libertarian-esque utopia where we say, fuck it. If you want to get behind the wheel of an 18-wheeler, have at her, dude. And yeah, that's going to lead to some wrecks and shit, but it'll cut down on a bunch of regulatory red tape. Or you could say, look, we're going to be very strict. These tractor trailers are very serious, and we don't want to jeopardize people's lives. So we're going to be super strict on regulations and the testing of all these drivers. But instead, it's super strict for the American citizen that's trying to do it. But the immigrant that can't speak the language, there you go, bud. Get behind that fucking wheel. We don't give a shit. It's the same thing here. If you've ever tried to do something like start a daycare and the hoops you have to jump through, at least in my state of Pennsylvania, quite expensive. But apparently, if you're some fucking Somalian that can't even spell the word learning, here you go, sir. Here's your millions of dollars. And don't worry, we're never going to check in to make sure that there are any children actually here. That's what's most galling about this. If you try to do things the right way, every hurdle is put in your way. You have to make sure every I is dotted, every T is crossed, you're paying taxes out the ass. The government gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Your money gets devalued because they're printing more and more of it. And then they're sending it to people who can't fucking stand you, from cultures that don't like you, that want to replace you, that are blatantly gaming the system. And when you're like, hey, I don't like this, they're like, fuck you, you're wrong, and you're a racist. It's a slap in the face. And all of us have known that this massive government spending that we have, right down to the NGOs that we're paying, to checks that are going out to all of these programs, Medicare and SNAP benefits and all welfare benefits, this, that, and the other, housing subsidies. If you live like I do, and you are in communities where people are poor, you can see how easy it is to abuse some of this shit. Food stamps is one. I don't know how many of you have had food stamps in your life. I have, or have been around people that use food stamps. It's not that everyone's abusing them. It's not even probably more than 20%. But you don't have to turn over many rocks to see the abuse, and it's rampant. When I used to bartend, I couldn't tell you how many times you'd hear about people, I'll be back later, I got to sell my food stamps. So they'd come in the bar and drink. And the businesses that are involved with it as well, that are absolutely allowing the food stamp fraud to go, they know it. Over and over in my life, I see one by one people that formerly would have been workers decide to give up. Fuck it. I hurt my back at work. I'll claim disability. Then I'll never work again. Fuck it. And I used to tell myself, like, man, what a bunch of idiots. How could you live like that? That's so stupid. But then, even I started to question myself when I was working 80 hours a week and never getting to see my son and my wife. Who's the idiot? The guy decided, fuck it, I got a back injury, I'm done working the rest of my life? And by the way, I don't mean someone who got a legitimate back injury. I mean people that ham up disability claims. Or some guy like me that's like, someday I'll get ahead. I'll keep working hard. When you see, this story just checks all the boxes. The amount of the fraud, the blatantness of the fraud, the fact that it's in this community of people that don't share our cultural values whatsoever, and then it's just been allowed to go on. It's so blatant, but because politicians, it didn't benefit them to call this out. Either they were afraid they'd get called racist or they saw benefit. We imported these people that are now changing the local and state level dynamic elections. And they're not making our country better, despite the fact that we've been told it over and over again. How many times have you seen me debate, let alone other people, maybe even yourself, talking with people, that you're basically told immigrants are far better Americans than, you or me. These are great people, these immigrants. Everything about them, even the illegals. They commit less crime, they're harder working, they have more diverse cultures, and diversity is our strength, right? All the studies show it. And then all you got to do is say, well, if that's true, then why aren't the people with the most means, that are the biggest liberals with the biggest hearts, excited to bring all of these immigrants into their communities? I don't see Martha's Vineyard opening their fucking doors open to 80,000 Somalians or Haitians. Why? If they're so much better than the average American. In fact, when they shipped 50 of them off to Martha's Vineyard, they couldn't handle it for more than 48 hours. Remember that video? Miyama, Miyama, as they called in the fucking National Guard to take these 50 illegals. And yet, they'll tell you with a straight face, oh no, those illegals are the best. There's no downside at all. They're the greatest. And yet every time we put them into a left community, we don't want them. But trust us, they're good for you. So we're going to watch this video. It's 40 minutes. I don't know that we'll watch all of it. But I just want to say, I will post the link. Please, please, please sub to Nick Shirley. Check out this. I think that I saw someone post this on X. You might see 1,000 Nick Shirleys post up now. This guy's getting so big overnight over just the simplest thing, finding publicly available information and going to these places himself and filming it. Hopefully it spawns 1,000 people that are like, I want my channel to grow. And they start doing this stuff all across the country. So there's the link to this specific video that we'll be watching. We're not going to watch the whole thing, but we're going to start.
Hello, we'd like to ask where the money's going. What do you guys think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
I don't think anybody is enabling fraud to happen.
Hold Governor Walz accountable for this.
What was this money spent on? 1.26 million. What was that money spent on? There aren't any kids.
Answer the question. Are there children? There's no children inside this building. Potentially the largest fraud scandal in U.S. history is taking place in Minnesota, as literally billions of dollars have been funneled through Somali-ran fraudulent businesses. So much fraud, it could actually almost replace the entire GDP of Somalia.
Now, this is something that we've seen of other countries as well. I believe Haiti has this as well. Where remittances alone were making up like huge swaths of some of these third world countries' GDP. So a $9 billion estimated scam from Somalians in the past under a decade, which would make up near a year of their GDP. I remind you, at one point, the United States still is superpower, the world's hegemon. And we start to see that all of a sudden, the middle class in this country and the manufacturing, blue-collar working middle class starts to erode. You want to know why? Because your politicians sold you out. They set the value of the work that you were doing in the middle class, in blue-collar work, and they shipped it overseas. Now listen, you'll hear the lefties out there that'll say, but what about all the rich people that scam the system? Fuck them, yes. In fact, I'm sure there's quite a few of them that had their fingers in this pie. But let us not pretend that there isn't a massive problem when it comes to some of these communities, including this community we see of Somalians in Minnesota. Their leftist bias will not allow them to admit it. It would be racist. You saw it when I did that debate the other day. That's the first thing. The other reason you care about this is because it's Somalians. I mean, I'm someone who's criticized the shit out of Trump for spending too much because I want to be a fiscal conservative. But somehow, me looking at billions of dollars of fraud is only because I'm a racist. Of course, you know what to do when someone calls you a racist now. Tell them to go fuck themselves. The accusation means nothing. It is merely a thinly veiled attempt to hide their racism and that they fucking hate anyone that doesn't fit into one of their oppressed groups, and to excuse bad behavior from people that they want to continue that behavior. Let's keep going.
These fraudsters have worked hand in hand with the Minnesota government as they enabled billions of dollars to be given to fraudulent businesses underneath welfare purposes. Some of this money eventually landed in the hands of terrorist groups in Somalia like the Al-Shabaab, and others enriched themselves all at the US taxpayers' expense. And in this video we will break down all of the fraud from start to finish, from going to the fraudulent businesses and confronting the people who are making millions of dollars from the government. And we will also be confronting the incompetent government leaders who let this fraud happen. And to make this happen, I met up with a man who's been doing his own investigation for years now, as he has seen the fraud firsthand. His name is David. Let's get into this and be prepared to be
Now, it's amazing how many guys like David are out there that see this shit, right? But they need to strike lightning in a bottle with someone that has the ability to catch eyeballs, like Nick Shirley here. So it's truly a great match that they've been able to sort of, a guy who's been looking into this and has the details can meet someone who's charismatic and has an audience that's able to bring this to the forefront. But this isn't the only time that you'll hear a story like this, and oftentimes, in fact, almost every time, nothing substantial happens. Again, I turn you to James O'Keefe's investigation into ActBlue a year or two ago. Over and over, he had public documents that would show this woman at this house right here has donated $47,000 to Democrats. It'll be a trailer in a poor neighborhood. He'll knock. Some old woman comes out. Mind if I talk to you for a minute? Sure. Did you ever donate to the Democrats? I think once or twice. Well, our records are showing that you donated hundreds of times to a total of $43,000. That's not possible. I live on Social Security. Now, the evidence is there for everyone to see, and yet it's just hand-waved away. The Democrats, they don't give a shit. They'll say, has anyone been charged with the crime? Okay, nothing to see here then. Yes, it's good to report this stuff, and it's good for the average person to be waking up, and hopefully more do. But until there is actual accountability, and I don't mean just, well, 73 people have been charged so far in these stings in Somalia. Why did it take Nick Shirley to walk into these places as opposed to someone from the Trump administration? Where's the FBI? Where's Pam Bondi? Why aren't they raiding these places? Now, again, you can't ask for them to be clairvoyant, but my goodness, when you see the blatantness of this, people need to go to prison for huge sentences. People need to be deported en masse. Enough of just seeing it and being outraged. Something has to happen.
shocked. How deep is this fraud here inside of Minnesota?
It is far worse than anybody can imagine. You heard it's 7 to 10 billion and maybe more, and now the numbers have been revised and put out there publicly that they think it's more like 8 billion. How I got involved is that where my office is here in Minneapolis, I'm sort of in the heart of all of this fraud, and I would see these childcare centers. I said, well, there aren't any kids there. It's the middle of the day, and all I see are a couple of guys standing out front smoking. And then I'd go by another daycare and I'd see the same thing. I said, well, where do these kids play? And so I started to go online and look, and I said, this place is licensed for 80 children. They had 0 children. Every time I went by there, they never had a single child there. Then I started to see all these transportation companies going around, and it was always a Somali driver. And I said, well, that's great. They're out there transportation, contributing, but they never had a passenger, never, ever once. And I said, well, what is all this transportation? What are they doing? So then I found out that in Minnesota, they have something called non-emergency medical transportation. So this is going to the dentist's office, therapy, whatever it might be. And I said, well, how many of these companies are there? And the research came back that there are 1,020 of them, and more than 800 of them are Somali owned.
Now, think of what he's saying here specifically. You have some sort of vehicle and it's non-emergency care. So it's not an ambulance. It's not like you're having a heart attack. You need to drive someone to the dentist. You need to drive them for some elective procedure, right? But what's happening is these people, 800 of the 1,200 are Somalian owned. And he's alleging when you see these vehicles, they're not driving anyone anywhere. They'll just fill out paperwork saying, yeah, we drove 200 people this week. And they're receiving millions of dollars in subsidies. It's surreal. Real quick. Psycher Carrig, $5, says, not even an attempt to put up a smokescreen of legitimate activity. Like they didn't even have their own kids bopping around in playrooms. Yep. And why would they worry? They have immunity. They have to be shocked. We thought this is how it went. We greased the wheels of the right politicians. We assumed everyone knew. No one had a problem with it. Why can you be mad now? If you leave the thief steal from your store every day of the week, the thief's shocked when eventually one day you're like, yeah, man, we're going to arrest you. What do you mean? It's what we know. We've been doing it. No one cares. They're brazen because there's never any consequences. At Chanel Wine, 6 months member, says, so happy I get to celebrate my 6 month stay. Thank you, man. And then Adam Adamant, $10, says, question. Minnesota's been importing Somalians for years. Ohio imported a bunch of Haitians. What's the incentive for these places to let them in? They can't vote and we're forced to educate their kids. There is no incentive for the local population. But it's not you, it's the politician. The politician has incentive. In some areas, it's because it drives up the amount of votes that they get and the districts and representatives that they're allowed to have. Also, it allows government money to massively funnel into that district. And particularly with a lot of politicians, they actually want demographic displacement. So, for example, when you look at places like Springfield, Ohio, what got lost in the eating the cats and dogs story was they talked about people that were losing their apartments because the landlords were able to charge through the nose for these Haitians because the government's picking up the bill. So if you're the local landlord, you're like, fuck yeah, bring them in. I don't care. Guaranteed government money. I could double my rent. I don't care. It's not like renting to someone who may not pay their bill at the end of the month. No, it's the government writing you the check. Sounds good. So a lot of these people that are wealthy have a huge incentive. Of course, they don't move them into their direct neighborhoods. But this is in my neck of the woods in Pennsylvania, outside of Pittsburgh. There's a community, Charleroi. They mass imported, I believe it was Haitians there. It's devastating to the community. The people in the community don't like it. They don't have a say in it. It's the federal government that's busing people there. Local politicians will be all right with it, most of them, because they're getting some sort of benefit from the federal government. So that's the sort of stuff that's going on. But many of the people in these communities weren't happy to see themselves displaced. The individual wasn't getting a benefit.
Nobody from the state of Minnesota ever cross-checks to see if any rides were ever actually provided. All they did was write the check.
So right here we have all this paperwork. And how are you getting all this information about the fraud?
A lot of it is through my own research. And then I have some contacts at the Capitol going back many, many years. And so the data that I'm getting is 100% accurate, coming directly from research done by people at the state Capitol.
All this paperwork right here, what are we looking at?
The areas of fraud that I have numbers for are mostly related to childcare. This is massive fraud that is beyond anyone's imagination, the scope. And so, for example, there's a childcare not far from here in Minneapolis that has two childcares listed at the same address. And
now, let's just look at this first story that they're talking about. The exact same address, 2 childcare facilities. Now, I've never worked in childcare. I have worked in a facility that takes care of adults with autism. I worked at one company for 14 years and another company for near 2 years. So I spent over 15 years in that line of work. One of the things that's a pain in the ass is a lot of the money that's coming through is government money, mostly state funds. And so there's a lot of state regulations. I'm in Pennsylvania, so we had what was called the 6,400 regulations. And a lot of the rules seem nonsensical, but they're there. And once a year, you would have licensors that would come through. And it depended on who you got and if your house got picked. So they would license every single company that did this, and they would randomly audit some of the houses. Some of those audits would just be paperwork audits. Other would be they would actually come into the home and they would check for things. They would check for cleanliness. They would check to make sure the financial books were good. They would check to make sure the medications were good. They would make sure that there was no hazardous situations in the home. Like, for example, certain types of open face heaters that you're not allowed to have, or cracks in the stairs, like cement stairs going into the house, lack of handrails, all things with people with limited mobility would struggle with. If you got bad marks, then you would be put on a probation period. Then they would randomly pop into the houses like several times a month. Now, I will admit it was sort of a pain in the ass to have like this people coming in and checking in on you from the government. But I also appreciated it because, one, as a fiscal conservative, I'm like, well, if the government's going to spend this money, at least they're doing some kind of audit of it. They're actually putting people on the ground. Sure, they're not checking every house. They're doing every company, and they're doing a limited amount of houses randomly per company per year, but it's better than nothing. The other thing is, you want to make sure that there's an outside set of eyes on the people that we're taking care of. Because unfortunately, in the line of work of working with people with developmental disabilities, autism, etc., a lot of times they have trouble vocalizing if they're being abused or neglected. And so at least if you have outside people coming in, there's at least some sort of chance that you'll pick up on something like that occurring if it's actually occurring. So I never minded it because to me it was like, hey, if I wasn't in this line of work, would I want people from the government checking in to make sure their money's being well spent? Yes. So who am I to get upset just because, yeah, it sucks when all of a sudden you got some government employee looking down let me see your books, let me check every log, let me check every signature you've had, every doctor appointment, every fire drill, every dollar. Do you have a receipt for every dollar? Yeah, it's a pain in the ass to try to meticulously keep the books like that, but I get it. So it blows my fucking mind after having gone through that. And even then at times I was like, I don't know. I think they should be more thorough in their investigations. So to see the stories that we're about to hear. So right out of the gate, you don't see a red flag that there are 2 childcare places listed at the exact same residency. The exact same address. And they never go in to check. They're cutting checks for millions of dollars, and they never bother to go in and check, like, were there actually kids here? Are the kids being treated properly? How can that be? Let's keep going.
together, they're licensed supposedly for 120 children. I have never seen a single child there ever, and I've been by that place at least 100 times.
100 times he's been there, never seen one child, and they're licensed for 120 children, receiving millions of dollars a year. Now, is it incompetence by the government? I'm sorry. No, it's fraud. They know what's going on. And again, we'll play you clips later. I played them before of some of these organizations that got caught talking to Keith Ellison. Oh, yeah, man, who was the head attorney general at the time in Minnesota. Yeah, we're going to make sure they're too harsh on you guys because they're racist, these investigative bodies from the government. Yes, it's racism. And then they're getting donations from the Somalian community. Yeah, it's a great example, Wade Buggs. Go ahead, man. Go through an IRS audit. They'll tear your life apart for $100 of receipts, of work receipts. And yet, millions of dollars going to the Somalian community that's allegedly... I mean, this is children we're talking about. God forbid they actually be taking care of the children and there be children there. What's the conditions of the children? What's the conditions of the facility? How the fuck would the government know if they can't even be mindful enough to see that there are no children there? If there are actually children being groomed or abused there, they'd have no fucking clue. They just keep writing the check. Meanwhile, you, the law-abiding citizen of this country, you're fucked, man. More. You got to pay more. Your money's worth less. Go to work more. More people on the government dole. And you're racist if you don't want to bring in more people that know how to take advantage of the system so that you have to work harder. Let's keep going.
Somalians, these groups are setting up these daycares, these childcare centers, getting money from the government, but there's no kids.
No kids. Never had any of them. They're all fraught with violations, and even though they have these violations, they're still in operation and they're still getting money. And it's millions of dollars for every one of them every year.
And who's getting the money? And where are they getting the money from?
So we have a thing called CCAP. It's a blend of federal and state money. The bottom line is it's taxpayer money, so it's state money and it's federal money. And the problem is the people at the state of Minnesota are the ones writing the checks. This is kind of the maddening thing is you have daycare, so you have adult daycare, and then you have childcare, and then you have healthcare. And a lot of these same names keep coming up on all of these different types of businesses. And then, of course, we have the transportation, and a lot of those same names appear, a lot of the same addresses. There's one building that has 14 Somali healthcare companies at the same address. There's another building.
14 at the same address. 14 healthcare places at one address. Now, this is how it would work, too. Again, going back to me with the in-home medical services we are providing for adults with disabilities. If there was fraud in that, if I was involved in a fraudulent company, well, let's look at what a non-fraudulent company does, like the one I worked for. There's transportation, where there might be day programs that a person goes to. So like education programs for these adults, transportation to get them to and from those programs, to and from medical appointments. Healthcare is what we are, a healthcare company. Then there's maintenance that goes in, maintenance companies that come in and work on the home. If you were to be fraudulent, all of those groups and many more could be involved in that fraud. Imagine that the guy I worked for 14 years didn't really exist. And I was just punching a fake time card saying I was there. My company's getting money from the government. They're giving me some sort of kickback. The people that come in to fix the house and do maintenance, they're getting a kickback. They're not doing anything. The people that are taking my client, transporting him to doctor's office, they could be getting a kickback. And then you start to wonder, why is it that our medical bills continue to go up and up and up, and it becomes less and less affordable? Look at the abuse in just this one area that we see. Just one area. Now imagine how this is magnified in blue states all across the country, and probably even red states as well. If it's this blatant here,
in St. Paul that has 22 Somali healthcare businesses at the same address.
And the government knows about this.
The government knows, they're writing the checks. Yeah, the Democrats over there just writing the checks. What has happened is that the Somali community is a very closed community. They will not speak to anyone outside the community and talk about what's going on within the community. They vote as a block. And so when you're a politician, you're saying, look, I've got 100,000 people in Minnesota that if I do something for the community, they're going to vote for me. And that's what it's all about, is getting the votes. And then the people here in Minnesota, you hear this term, Minnesota nice. I'm so sick of that term. The people here are so afraid of being called a racist or an Islamophobe. And they're afraid of their own shadow. And I don't.
So there you go. They're going to vote as a block. These are people from an outside culture that are going to balkanize, and they're going to advocate for their interest. And so they're engaged in mass amounts of fraud, which is enriching their community. So they're draining from the locals that are working and from our tax dollars. Then they support individual politicians that keep the gravy chain going. Politicians are more than happy. They get the votes. This tips the votes in their scale. It's not their money. They're happy to send the dollars, no problem, whatever. And everyone else, it's, well, I trust the system, or I don't want to rock the boat and be called a racist. So you just let it go. Now, I don't live there. In my community, it's still overwhelmingly the people that have lived here for generations. We have some immigrants, and most of them are very great people. But there isn't a mass influx. 95% of the people you see live here, their parents lived here. But imagine paying financially for all of this and then watching your community radically change with this balkanized community that's insular, that won't even speak to you and people like you. Fuck you. They're your own community. You have to pay to have all of your community taken over by people engaged in fraud that your money's directly going to pay, which makes your services even harder to obtain. And it's right out in the open.
Understand, this is our future generations are going to have to pay for all this fraud, and they just want to bury their heads in the sand and go on and just not worry about it. Tim Walz saying there's organized crime in Minnesota. What did he do about it? Nothing. You got organized crime? What are you doing? This is the Minnesota law, which mandates that anyone who knows of fraud and is a state employee must report that fraud. It's Minnesota Statute 3.971, Subdivision 9. Not only that, but Walz is also guilty of misconduct of a public employee. When I look at the world as a whole, and I look at fraud, the Twin Cities is ground zero. The fraud is worse here than anywhere else ever in history. Anywhere.
We're going to go.
I mean, it's surreal that this is happening in the United States. If you look back at the Hart-Celler Act, right when it passed in the 60s, even the most ardent supporters are saying, oh, it's not going to lead to mass demographic change. And now, not only have we accepted it, but mass amounts of frauds occurring from these communities, and we're told that we're bigots to even notice. I want you to take a minute and ask yourself this. The average Trump-hating Democrat that you see on social media, how many of them do you think give a fuck about this story for real? How many do you think care? How many do you think are like, good, I'm glad they're taking this money. They deserve it. They're oppressed. Good. We should take the money off people like Elon Musk and rich white people. Just know that huge portions of the Democrats will actively ignore or cheer this on. Listen to them, the way they talk about money. They don't give a shit. These are people, like, during the pandemic, I remember talking to these people. It blew my, I knew how delusional so many of these people on the left were. It blew my fucking mind, though. One story I remember, I was talking to a woman from Australia. And this is at the height of the pandemic. And Australia was locked down more than most places in the United States. And She said, lockdown should continue. And I said, well, how long? And she said, forever, in perpetuity. It doesn't matter. I was like, in perpetuity? Like, yep. And I was like, how? Like, what are you going to do? How are you going to support your communities? The government will take care of it. I was like, where is the government going to get, I don't know, food? Because she said a lockdown, every single person locked down. She's like, well, okay, we'll let the farmers work. And I was like, okay, do you live on a farm? She's like, no. I'm like, well, how will you get the food? Well, I guess we'll leave the grocery store employees work. Okay, well, how's the food getting from the grocery store or from the farm to the grocery store? Well, I guess we'll leave the truck drivers work too. There was another time I was debating someone, and this person called themselves a libertarian. Some word, like it was like a radical black libertarian or radical black, something like that. And he was talking about how we owe the world reparations. And I said, how much? And he said, trillions upon trillions of dollars we owe the world. And I said, how are we going to pay for that? And I shit you not, he said, just print it. How do you talk sense into people like that? Now, it's these same sorts of people that are going to be like, wow, white people have been so oppressive to black people like Somalians. And in fact, it's white people's fault that Somalia is so bad anyways. And so they deserve this money. They do. And what do you care? It's just rich people that'll pay. It doesn't harm you. Let's see. There's a clip that I wanted to show you here. Let's see if I can find it. I'm not going to be able to. Maybe I saved it. Let me check real quick. Brief intermission. I probably didn't save the clip. And it's a real bummer. It was a good one, too. I don't know if people saw it. It was sort of a viral clip. It was this left-wing woman. It's like two of them, and they're talking to these two non-left-wing women. And the like non-left-wingers, like a white, they're all white, and she's like, you know, I have been turned away for jobs because I'm white. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? That video? It went viral. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, here we go. Let's when you ask yourself, how is this level of fraud possible? How is no one like speaking up about it? Keep in mind that huge sections of left-wingers in the country think exactly like this. Listen to this conversation.
To diversity.
I don't want to be like replaced at a job because I'm white.
You are not being replaced.
I literally just said I've not gotten jobs.
So
because
have I,
of
but
diversity
I don't
quotas.
feel like I'm being replaced.
That's what that is. You could have got that job if you were black. So how is that not being replaced? That's what affirmative action is. What do you think it is?
No, that was casting. That's what that was. It was casting. But why is it hard for you not to just go, I did not get that one, let me go for this one?
Yeah, I will do. That's why you think like black people would be chill with that if it's like, oh, sorry, you're black,
I
you
think
can't
they
get
have been
that
chill with
job.
that.
I don't think so. We had a whole civil rights movement, so I don't think that was very chill.
You got a problem with the civil rights movement?
Because they were being discriminated.
You hear this woman's like, no, I don't think anyone should be discriminated against because of their skin color. I don't think black women would just say, well, just work harder. You didn't get that job because you're black, just work harder. I think they had a civil rights movement. And do you see how this is? Oh, so you're against that? You're against that? No, that's clearly not what she's saying. She's saying, no, I support that. If there were people refusing to hire black people because they're black, I think that's terrible. Just like I think it's terrible if they refuse to hire me because I'm white. Oh, so you were against? Just listen to how this plays out.
Against, so they
You think
started
they should
civil
still
rights.
be slaves?
What?
I mean,
that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying they weren't chill with being
You
discriminated
think that
against.
we
I'm
should
not
still
chill
have
with
them
it
at the
either.
back of the bus? Like,
What?
these things
That's not
happen
what I'm
so that
saying.
we could have equality. Why is equality difficult
How is it
for you?
equality for me to not get a job because I'm white?
Why is it a problem to just work harder?
I mean, how would you feel if white people said that to black people pre-civil rights?
I feel like you probably say that to black people post-civil rights.
You see? You see how that looks? You must want slavery. You must. And if you're not getting hired because you're white, that's a good thing. Diversity is our strength. Just work harder. Now, what do you think those same women think when they see this Somalia fraud story? They're like, so what? Good. White people are evil and racist. Good. Somalians should. After all, Bill Gates and Elon Musk probably cheated somewhere, so why not these Somalians? Let them take billions of dollars. It is surreal. They absolutely fucking hate groups that they categorize as oppressors. And who are those groups? Based on race, white people. Based on sexual orientation, straight people. Based on religion, Christians. Based on biological sex, men. They fucking hate those groups. Fuck you. You deserve less. You should have to work 4 times as hard for half as much. Everything is privileged. You're an oppressor. Fuck you. And so, when a story like the grooming gangs in the United Kingdom come across, well, you have to understand their culture is different. It would be racist. And what about white people that do bad things? Somalian fraud? That's racist to highlight that. And after all, white people have screwed up their country, so they're entitled to this money. That's how this shit happens. The Democratic Party is a party that legitimizes this sort of shit occurring. Not everyone who votes Democrat, but a huge portion of them. And the politicians, as you can see, what is the explanation in Minnesota? What's the fucking explanation? They were just incompetent? Well, we didn't know when we looked and we saw 17 healthcare facilities all at the same address. It never occurred to us as we were cutting checks for millions of dollars to, I don't know, show up and make sure that there was like actual work being done there. Never occurred to us. Oh, okay. Well, then it's not corruption. Thank God. Just incompetence again. And again, I want you to remember, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Go look in the stories that you saw with the loans for COVID that didn't have to be paid back. Loans, fancy name of saying. It was right in front of your fucking face everywhere. Go watch Judge Judy around the time of the pandemic. Go watch it. It will blow your fucking mind. How many cases were something like this? Well, I was going to pay them back when I got my PPP loan. You have a business? Would say Judge Judy. Yeah, me and my sister. What is it that you do? We sell jewelry. You and your sister have a business. Yep, we sell jewelry. Do you have any other employees? Nah, just us. And how much in loans did you get? $100,000. And then the other person will be like, yeah, they didn't pay me back. They went to Cancun. Did you go to Cancun with that money? Yeah. Fucking streamers were taking PPP loans. Like Destiny. Meanwhile, the people, and my wife worked at a bank. I remember she came back, she would be like, it's fucking terrible. Like, there's so many people that are taking advantage of the system that you know it's bullshit. And then, like, the people it was designed for, like the woman who owns the hair salon that can't fucking pay her employees, or the guy that owns the small restaurant, or the family that owns the hardware store, they're fucked. They don't know how to take advantage of these. They're actually blue-collar workers that are trying to do things the right way. Everyone and their fucking brother was starting businesses and corporations. Yeah, I'll take those PPP loans. And can you really blame them? Everybody else is getting their slice of the pie. Why not me? Meanwhile, who's left holding the bag? The average fucking American that's going to work 9 to 5, that loses through inflation or taxation. You're fucked. Now they're estimating hundreds of billions of dollars in fraud, in stimmy checks and PPP loans. Hundreds of billions. And if they ever did a deep dive in that, I'll bet it would be way worse than what we're even being told. I'll bet every single person listening here knows someone that got one of those loans or something that you rolled your eyes and were like, really? Really? It's unbelievable. The NGOs that we were talking about, that Doge was looking into. The game is simple. You and your buddies are on sort of, living in the DC area. Hey, we want to start a non-governmental organization to fight measles in Nicaragua. So you call some people in Nicaragua, start a charity to fight measles. Then you back home with your buddies, a senator's son or cousin or some shit like that. You start the NGO. You send paperwork to government. We're looking for $5 million for this project. You fill out a paperwork. Here's the charity we're working with in Nicaragua. Great. Sounds good. A little bit of data. Here's people that we think die of measles. Here's what we're going to do. Great. They cut the check for $5 million. You keep $4 million of it for your personal business expenses. You send $1 million over to Nicaragua. That company over there that started over there, they keep $800,000 and they put $200,000 into fighting measles or whatever bullshit it is that they claim to be doing. Meanwhile, it's a kickback system to all these politicians. Straight, the fucking unions in this country. Dollars that go from our government to places like unions that then kick the money back in the form of supporting Democrat politicians and sending them financial donations. That in turn send them money or policies that directly benefit them. And the cycle continues over and over. H-1Bs. How many jobs are we told? No Americans wanted those jobs. Then you look into it and you're like, well, holy shit, look what the qualifications were. Look at the wage that they were offering to pay. So they hired an Indian, an H-1B, to do it much cheaper. Every part of this fucking system, this Byzantine, huge fucking government. Now, say what you will about Donald Trump. There's a lot to criticize. I do it all the time. The employment numbers don't look that great. They're up somewhat. Now, we're coming off Biden, where most of the gains were jobs that were lost during the lockdowns that the Democrats and some Republicans supported. Look at this fuckhead. Look at this absolute piece of shit. Look at him. Look at this. We cover these stories of these huge fraud areas in Democrat-controlled Minneapolis. But what about Trump as well? This motherfucker right here, I'll guarantee this motherfucker doesn't care about the fraud. Is there a way that I can say Orange Man bad? Can I say Orange Man bad? Is there a way I can say that? Otherwise, I don't give a shit about the story. Fuck it. Let the fraud continue. I just want to say Orange Man bad somehow. Can I somehow say Orange Man bad? Yes, Lointon, if you followed me, you'd know that I massively criticized Trump, not only in real time during the fucking pandemic, including for the amounts of money that were spent. Yes, it's true the Democrats wanted to spend far more recklessly, have more lockdowns. But sure, yes, Trump does deserve blame. You piece of shit that doesn't care. Fuck you, lying sack of shit. I do care. I do care. I care. Trust me. I just wanted to say Orange Man bad. It's important that we always say Orange Man bad. That's it. Trust me, I care. Trust me, I care about it. But Orange Man bad, right? Like Orange Man bad, right? Like we all agree Orange Man bad. These people are so fucking transparent. Absolute fucking garbage sacks of shit. Here's a motherfucker that probably never said anything about government waste in his life until one time he heard Trump did something. He was like, was that Trump? Oh, yeah, waste. Yeah, that's bad. Yeah, that's bad. Oh, yeah, Tim Walz, whatever. That's the same with these fucking people. How many times do I have to tell you? This is exactly who they are. I was talking to my dad about this today. My dad's not very political. And he sees this. He's like, the thing is, he's like, the Democrats hate Trump so bad, they wouldn't give a shit if they had to burn 100 Democrats to get Trump. They would make a new law that they would know would arrest 100 Democrat politicians if it also meant arresting Trump. They'd be perfectly fine with it. And I was like, yeah, that's because they don't really have, their ideology is such that there's a million Hillary Clintons. There's a million Nancy Pelosi's. There's a million Chuck Schumers. They don't give a fuck. They don't have any loyalty to the individual. It's the party. It's the system. That's their loyalty. You get rid of Chris Wray, who gives a fuck? Throw him in jail. We don't give a fuck. We got Rod Rosenstein. Get rid of him. Who gives a fuck? They'll be the next person. They don't care. And so they'll come on and they'll pretend, oh, yeah, I care about this because Trump. I care about deficit spending. Look at Trump. I care about it because Trump. Really? Did you ever say shit all before Trump? Well, no. Or they'll say, yeah, I did. Trust me. Yeah. I've always been on it. I'm a big Democrat voter. I've always been on it. These people don't give a shit. They only care insofar as they could say, yeah, Trump. Now, before I was interrupted by the Orange Man bad hater, one of the things I will say is the economic data, the jobs data doesn't look that great until you realize almost all the jobs being created are going to American-born citizens as opposed to mass amounts of the jobs under Biden going to foreign-born. And we have huge declines in federal jobs, government jobs, which is great. That's exactly what we need to shrink the size of this government. One last thing I'll say about the PPP loans. Absolutely, Donald Trump should be blamed for at least paying lip service to lockdowns. Now, as a president, he avoided putting any federal lockdowns. But nonetheless, he did pay lip service to lockdowns, criticized places like Florida that he thought was opening up too soon. Once we did lockdowns, as terrible as it sounds, there probably was a place for stimulus checks. Because it's one thing for some piece of shit that's like, I just don't want to work, the government should pay me. It's another thing to tell someone, hey, motherfucker, you're not allowed to go to work. Good luck. So I understand if you're going to tell someone you literally can't go to work, sending them a stimulus, it's like, here's some groceries at least. I didn't like it. But the problem stemmed from the false dialectic that was like, well, we have to do lockdowns, which Trump's at least partially to blame for that. Let's read some super chats, shall we? Zach Dennison, $10. Thank you. Really appreciate it, man. Postal Joe, $10 says, this is the type of journalism that George F. trial riots should have gotten. A total media cover-up, and Governor Walz not wanting to offend a specific voter base, so the city burned. Yep. Graz, thanks so much for being a member. Zach Dennison, thanks for gifting a sub. The great Jess Gerald, $20. robnoerr, #1 anti-bigot. I try my best. Thanks, Gerald. Left-handed assassin, $10. Thank you so much. 2024, a gay odyssey. Thanks, man. $2 says, Somali money is going to insurgent movements there. Yeah, Al-Shabaab. Yep. We're financing terror. Don't worry, though. Your children will get to go overseas to fight the very terrorists that your tax dollars are going to pay right now. Isn't that great? Don't worry, though. Once that's done, then we'll get to go over to fucking the remnants of the Soviet-era states, all the fucking weapons that we sent to Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan and through fucking Ukraine. 20 years from now, we'll get to send our grandchildren over there to fight. Postal Joe, thanks so much. 20 gifted memberships. Thank you so much. Premonition, how you doing? $5 says, my small part for you, speak truth. Happy you're back. Thank you, Premonition. And the Great Wade Boggs, 20 memberships. Thank you so much. BobTube TV, $5 says, the Somalis are actually smart, proving that universal basic wage can work. Yeah, sure. For Tome, $10 says, as a now former auditor, it's very clear that the investigators need to look into the CPA firms that did the books for these Somali businesses. They definitely got a cut to turn a blind eye to blatant fraud, of course. But the auditors are also turning a blind eye because their bosses at the government level want them to. BobTube TV again, $5 says, the job state is great for when you factor in 260,000 Somalis who are actually unemployed. They're healthcare professionals, right? All right, let's go back to the Nick video. Again, this is Nick Shirley. Please check this video out. Give it a thumbs up. Share it with people. Give Nick a sub.
Confront these people. We're going to go to these daycare centers. We're going to see what's actually happening.
Okay, so we have to be careful because these people are very violent. They're exceptionally violent.
Now, with all of David's evidence, we headed out to the streets of Minneapolis to see how much fraud we could uncover in one afternoon. Where are we going now?
We're going to a place called Mako Childcare, which actually has another childcare registered at the same address called Mini Childcare Center.
So we should see lots of children if there's this child care center, especially if there's two.
The two of them combined are licensed for 120.
And how much money have these child care centers received?
None of those vans have moved in 6 months. None of them. In 2020, one of them received $1.3 million. In 2021, they got $987,000. In 2022, they got $714,000. That's the last I have for that one. And then the other one, $1.604 million in fiscal year 2025. Fiscal year 2024, they got about $800,000, and in fiscal year 2023, they got $904,059. This place right here. Yes.
We're outside of it.
Well, this is actually two daycares are registered here. One of them is Mako, which you see on this sign. The other one is Mini Child Care Center. And between the two of these child care centers, they're pulling in about $3 million a year. And there are no children. Every facility that you go to, the windows will be blocked out so you can't see in. There's nobody here. You won't see a single child at any of these facilities.
There are indeed no windows. All the windows are blacked out right here. All right, let's go in.
No.
And the child care center.
I mean, that is like the windows being blacked out, not just curtains, but literally blacked out there, which is insane. Now, this guy's been following this for years, said he's been out to these locations hundreds of times. The vans haven't moved. He's never seen one child. So it's the middle of the day here. You would expect to see some sort of children. Doors are locked. Windows blocked. $5 million that combined these two facilities at the same address.
Is locked. Should we ring the doorbell? Yeah. Try to get in, rang the doorbell. Nobody showed up.
There's two beverages. It looks like two people were out there at some point.
They're open 7 days a week, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. it says here on their sign, yet there's absolutely nobody here. And this building here, right here, has generated millions of dollars, and it seems like business isn't even open right now, and it's a weekday. And if this was a daycare center...
Weekday, middle of the day, and a weekday. No one at the daycare center? Do the people that normally... And again, remember, these two locations are licensed for 120 children. Am I to believe that for whatever reason, no parents brought their child to this daycare this day?
It wouldn't just be in some industrialized building. There would be maybe like a playground or something outside, or...
There's no play area for the kids. So where are the kids? Where's anybody? How can there be nobody here? And it's like this every single day. I've never seen a single child here in 9 years, I've never seen a single child at this building. Right there.
Oh, then now it looks like we already got the Somalis coming through.
Yeah, they're coming. The word's out.
Hello, is this your daycare?
No. Can you tell us why there are no children? Have you ever seen children at this child care center?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Doesn't know if she's ever seen a child here. All right, let's go to the next location. And the fraud only gets more from here. Make sure you stay till the very end of this video to see exactly how much fraud we find by the time we are done. And before we go to the next location, I want to show you something super interesting about the flags of Minnesota. And here in Minnesota, if you take a look at the Minnesota...
Now, we talked about this on the extravaganza one day. This was the change in design that they had to the Minnesotan flag. I didn't know this was part of this video, but this is interesting. Wait until you see this.
State flag. They recently changed it, and it very much so resembles the flag of Somalia. And really quick, I want to tell you guys about the sponsor of this video, Opus Clip. What used to just...
Now, normally, I would fast forward through an ad, but out of respect to Nick Shirley in this video, I am going to watch this ad. I don't know anything about this company, but I believe it's the least that I could do for the great work that he's doing there.
An AI Clipper has now become the most powerful AI growth tool for creators. Right now, over 10 million creators and businesses have used Opus Clip to help them gain over 60 billion views. I've used Opus, and I've even had my friends use it, and it helped my one friend with nearly just 100 followers get a video up to 30,000 views. And it's super simple to use. All you do is you upload a video or copy a YouTube link, and Opus will do the rest, and it'll come out with tons of viral shorts for you then to choose from. And Opus just came out with their new AI editor 3.0 that comes with smarter auto framing, better virality scoring, and new captions. And I've said it before, but Opus is so simple that even my mom can use it.
And if I can use it, I know you can
His mom went with it.
And right now, for you guys watching this video, Opus is going to hook you guys up with a sweet deal. You'll get 1 week free and 3 months at 50% off. All I have to do is go to the link in the description of this video or go to the pinned comment down below and use code Nick Shirley. 1 week free and 3 months at 50% off. And now let's get back into the video. Now we're going to the next daycare center. How much money has this one generated?
This one in fiscal year 2025, $1,042,059. In fiscal year 2024, $1,059,078. And in fiscal year 2023, $727,336.
This next one is literally 1 block away, and this one's also generated nearly $3 million in the past 3 years.
Now, it's 1 block away. And what you'll see is over and over again, not just these sorts of facilities, but then I saw a guy doing a viral video where it was about Somali grocery stores connected to Somalian restaurants, literally in the same building. And it's because you're able to sell those SNAP benefits to the restaurant that uses it for the food. And so they're able to get that food for their profit business. That there's fraud going on. So I need, produce for my restaurant. I put a grocery store here. I allow you to come in with your $200 of SNAP benefits. I give you $100 cash. And now I have doubled the amount I have to now use based on government tax dollars for produce for my own restaurant that's attached. Here you see these buildings. So there were 2 daycare centers at the first location, no one there. Now, a block or 2 away, they're at a second daycare center. How rich is this little area? A 6-city block area, and they're getting millions upon millions of dollars a year for daycare that no children are ever at.
See if there's any children. Let's see if any of the buildings are open. Here we go. All right, we've arrived to ABC Learning Center. All the windows are blacked out. Let's see if anybody is here. This door is locked.
This facility is licensed for 40 children. 0 children. I've come by this place 100 times. I've never seen a child here, ever. The only thing I've ever seen is someone standing outside smoking.
What's crazy about this is that last daycare center is that green building right there. And the other daycare center right now is right here. These buildings should be operating as they're receiving literally millions of dollars.
And just to be clear, where I'm at in Pennsylvania, there will be places that are like preschools, daycare centers, etc. And every single one that I've seen around here has playgrounds outside, playground equipment. And you'll be at a red light and you see the kids that are out playing. It's fenced in, obviously. You don't want kids being able to get in the road. But you see kids, or you'll see them a lot of the daycare facilities, they'll go on little field trips. You'll see them walking to like the local restaurant or something, and they get like a cookie or something like that. They're talking about they've never even seen kids go in and out these buildings. All the windows blacked out.
Knocked on the door, and to my surprise, somebody actually answered the door. Hello? Can we speak? I would like to check a child in the daycare. Why? Can I speak to a manager? Where can I get paperwork to file for my son? I wanted to put my son Joey in daycare. And after a few questions, the lady went silent. Looks like little Joey Shirley ain't going to daycare here. And now where are we going?
Now we're going to Sweet Angel Child.
Imagine being a daycare place that you're getting federal dollars, and the more kids you have, the more money you could get. Nope, we're just not going to take someone who's inquiring. Nope, not interested.
Care.
We're in the middle of a strip mall here inside of this neighborhood.
In fiscal year 2025, this facility, which has its license for 74 kids, was paid $1.26 million in tax money. And there are no kids, and all the facilities are the same way, all of them.
Let's see if anyone opens.
Yeah, let's see.
Once again, I try to find a spot for my
See the windows all blacked out again.
son Joey, and they would not open the door. I want to put my son Joey in daycare. Cuz I need a spot to put my son Joey.
Yes.
Is this your daycare center?
No, I work there. What's happened?
I just want to put a child in daycare, but all the daycare centers seem to be closed. No one's opening the doors.
You work here?
I was, yeah. What's happened?
Where are the kids?
Yeah?
It says it's licensed for 74 children. Right here, state of Minnesota. Where are the kids? They got paid $1.26 million in fiscal year 2020.
Guy's got some nice earbuds and a nice iPhone there, right? Getting paid decently to work there.
It says they have a capacity for 74 children.
When?
Where are the kids? Right here. State of Minnesota website. You work here and you don't know?
I don't know. I was there before. I don't know what's going on.
Were there any kids when you...
So wait a minute. This guy used to work there. He doesn't know if there were kids there, and he just happens to be out front of this facility now? What do you think the chances of that are? Does the dude just hang out his former place of employment? I'd just like to chill. Now, as they've already said, and you could probably intuit, these places are close enough, and the Somali community is balkanized enough. You know the word went out, just like when ICE goes into a place. Everybody's calling everyone. So now people are starting to show up. What are you doing here, huh?
You worked here?
He's there. Kids there.
How many?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Yeah.
You worked here. Okay, well, then you're not of any help.
Can I put my son in a daycare here?
No, I don't know.
Can I speak to someone?
No, I don't know.
No? Yeah, I would like to see if I can put my son Joey here.
Who's your son, Joey?
My son Joey. Can I check out daycare center?
No! He's a liar. I'm the owner.
Do you put your kid here in this daycare?
No.
There is one child in there. Yeah, I'd like to know if this is a legit business.
Me, I'm scared of you too. How come I explain everything?
You're scared of me?
Yeah.
Why?
Because of your curry.
Because of your color.
Because of my color. You said you're scared of me because of my color. Does that make you a racist?
Yeah, no.
But
No.
You said you're scared of me because of my color.
I'm not saying you're racist.
You said you're scared of me because of my color. That makes you a racist. So right now, they're all getting mad because he's showing the paperwork of this business being registered as a business. 74 children, no children. We saw one child when the lady opened up the door. So now they're all getting mad.
What was this money spent on? 1.26 million. What was that money spent on? There aren't any kids.
Ask the owner and the kids.
Well, then why are you talking for the owner if you're telling me to talk to the owner?
I'm sorry. I'm not understand what you're talking about.
Do you have a child here?
No.
Does anybody?
No.
Where are the 74 kids? Did you lose them? Did you lose these kids? Do I need to call someone? Do I need to...
Now, to be clear, let's defend this facility in the slightest way. They're licensed to operate 74. That does not mean that they claim to have 74. That's just the maximum capacity. But nonetheless, we're talking about over $1 million a year going here. One or two children being there ain't going to cut it. Surely our government's not paying $1 million in change for one kid to be looked after. It makes no sense. So let's just say, okay, it's licensed for 74. You would expect 20, 30 kids there. And there's no evidence of any. He said there's one kid in there. For all we know, it's the person who's working there's kid. Now, I understand they're getting the money for kids being there, but the maximum capacity, I'm not so sure that that's what's going on. But it's surreal, and they're so, how dare you? How dare you question us on this? How dare you?
Issue an Amber Alert for missing children? Are these children missing? It's not my business that children are missing. 74 infants and toddlers, preschool.
The proof's right there. There's no children anywhere.
It's from the state of Minnesota right here.
I think we're moving on to the next location. Have a good day. As we continue to show the blatant fraud that was taking place here in Minnesota, Somalis started following us around the city. And now we're being followed by the Somalis. This is another daycare center, absolutely no signage, and there's no footprints in the snow of children playing outside. $5 million within the past
5.9 million in 2 years. 5.9 million they received in 2 years. That facility right there.
And now we have a group of Somalis telling us in our vehicle right now. From this daycare center, we headed over to the infamous Quality Learning Center, which actually spells
the Quality Leering Center. Notice they forgot an N there. I mean, you can't make this shit up. Now they have Somalians following them. Now that the Quality Leering Center, a place that probably got millions of dollars, that's supposedly educating infants and toddlers that can't even spell the fucking word learning. And this isn't like someone wrote something on a chalkboard and misspelled it. It's their only sign. It's a fucking joke. It's blatant.
Quality Leering Center on the outside of their sign. That's how blatant this fraud is here at this daycare.
Don't open up!
So this is Quality Leering Center. I meant to say Quality Learning Center.
Don't open
They
up!
said they spelt learning wrong.
Don't open up!
How do you have ice here, ma'am? I'm literally a YouTuber.
Don't open up!
Ma'am.
See what I said about the liberal white lady on the other video that was talking about, like, you should just work harder and press. Here you go. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Now you have the white knights showing up. This is outrageous. How dare you? Give these Somalians their millions and leave them alone. They're great people. How dare you?
What do you think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
Don't open up! We have ice!
And what do you think about this place being licensed for 99 children
Don't open up!
and getting $4 million over
Don't
the
open up! It's ice!
$4 million in the last 2 years?
Go away!
What do you think about that? Are you in
Go
favor?
away!
Are you in favor of that?
Go away!
You know where
You're
the-
not welcome here!
Are you-
Shame on you!
Are you in favor of $1.9
Shame
million
on you.
going
It's ice.
illegally,
Don't open up!
fraudulently to this business that has Quality Learning Center but can't even spell learning right on the door?
Don't open up!
Ma'am, we are not ICE.
I don't care who you are, you don't belong here.
I believe.
In the United States? So she's trying to prevent what she's claiming would be federal law enforcement from a taxpayer-funded daycare center. And now she's telling American citizens they don't belong here on the streets of America in front of this clearly fraudulent organization. You don't belong here. Your tax dollars belong there, though, don't they? She don't have a fucking problem with your tax dollars going there, but how dare you want to show up and make sure your tax dollars aren't being spent fraudulently? You don't have a right to that. Huge portions of our country are that woman. Now, you can tell what probably happened. They had Somalians that were following them. They have connections to local activists, so they probably are like, get a white lady to show up. She shows up, ice, don't open up, making sure no one says anything that can incriminate them. The people, again, you look at all the people that are actively against ICE. They wanted the millions of illegals to come in under the Biden administration, and now they want them to stay. And in large part because they hate white people, because they hate conservatives, because they hate Christians, because they hate men. They feel they're oppressors. They need to be punished. They need to be displaced. They'll lie. They'll say, no, we weren't for open borders. We weren't. But don't you dare try to deport people.
Belong here just like you belong here.
Don't open up! It's ice!
You do realize that there's supposed to be 99 children here at this building, but there's no one here. This is a child daycare center.
99 children. Paid $1.9 million this year in CCAP funding. Do you know where the children are? Were they kidnapped? They run away? Where are the children? This is state of Minnesota. Right here.
And who are you?
My name's Nick Shirley, ma'am.
And who are you with?
Nick Shirley. Nick Shirley on YouTube.
Yeah, so who are you with here?
Oh, he's just been doing some research investigating the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm with Nick Shirley.
This lady, she's calling us ICE. We're just trying to put law and order back in the streets of the United States.
You got to love this old guy. Yeah, I'm with Nick Shirley. That's amazing. And good for that guy. A guy who actually cares about his community and his country. Unlike this lady who feels that they deserve to be punished.
Get rid of all the fraud. Have you ever seen children at that daycare center right there?
Where?
Yeah, it's right there. It says the child, you've never seen daycare.
I haven't seen anybody in here.
We're going to educate you on something. So what do you think about this daycare center? They spelled learning wrong. They've received over $1.9 million this year alone, and they're supposed to have 99 children here.
I don't see it.
Have you ever seen any children here?
None at all. None.
This year they got 1.9 million. Last year they got 1.5 million of your tax money for 99 children. We just want to know, where are the kids?
Right.
Where are the children?
I don't see them. I've been here since 2017. I haven't seen anybody like
Never
that
seen
here.
a child here.
No, not at all.
And so you've
People on the street, like, what? And that's just it. The average person has no fucking clue. Now, again, you could blame the Somalians that are engaged in the fraud. You could blame the politicians that are allowing the fraud to go and probably getting kickback. All of that good and should be blamed. Where the fuck is the media? Where are they? Over and over and over, we hear the media glorify themselves. We hold truth to power. We hold truth to power. They don't do shit. They're so interested in taking down Donald Trump, spreading every hoax against them. They will protect literally every group. They'll protect every fraud in the fucking country. They don't give a shit. In fact, it's worse than that. I'm sorry, I misspeak. It's not that they just don't have an interest in this. They actively have an interest in covering it up. Because their buddies in the big club, these politicians, are benefiting from this. It's not just lack of curiosity, it is an intentional cover-up. And you just hope, look, it's easy. It's easy for people like us. We are abnormal. Not necessarily in a bad way, though some of us like me, abnormal in a bad way. You do realize, though, the average person, they're not spending a Saturday night looking at a video like this or listening to some commentator like me. The average person's probably some fucking dude like this. It's like, I don't know, I work here, I walk by this place, never gave two thoughts of it. Every year he's like, why does my dollar get less and less? I don't know. It's a shame my city's turning into a bunch of people that don't speak the language, but whatever. And then when someone's like, did you know this place is supposed to have 90 children here? They're getting over $1 million a year. He's like, what? Probably never even crossed his mind. If we had a media that did their job, maybe it would cause enough of a public outcry to say, hey, can we make sure our money's being spent in a beneficial way, that it's not going to fraud? But the problem is, so many people just assume, well, someone else will do that work. You remember when I debated that guy, Brian Shapiro, there several times in the past couple weeks? What did he keep saying? Well, if no one's arrested, nothing wrong happened. Otherwise, there would have been arrest. You can make fun of him for that, but that's how so many of these people do things. Maybe Brian knows this is fraud, he's just being disingenuous, or maybe he's dumb enough to believe what he's actually saying. Until there's an official arrest or someone in an official capacity tells him that something's wrong, he's just going to be like, there's nothing wrong. There's not, unless, of course, it's Trump. Then Trump did that shit, whatever that wrong thing is. And the truth is, a lot of people think like that, and I don't even blame them. You know what I want to do? I want to hang out with my fucking family. From the bottom of my heart, I love doing this channel. I love debating. I love talking politics. But if I was rich beyond my wildest dreams right now, I got to tell you, man, it'd be real tempting to just get an RV and travel with my family, my wife and my son, for the rest of my days, man. And die a happy old man next to my wife. It'd be real tempting. I want to spend time with my family. I want to spend time with my friends, and I'm so blessed that I get a chance to do that. The average person, they don't give a shit about politics. They don't care. They just want to be left alone. They don't want to think about, like, look, do you understand what's going to happen? We're mass importing people that don't share our culture. The mass amount of fraud. They don't want to think about that shit. They're like, huh, what? And they assume, well, there's people out there, they're looking into this shit. But there's not. The politicians are in on it, or they're grossly incompetent. The media doesn't give a fuck, or they're covering it up intentionally. This is why I said that Elon Musk was more of a threat to the establishment than Donald Trump ever could be. Because Elon was taking away one of their most important tools, which was the mass censorship of people they disagreed with politically. That's why the European Union's fining X. It's not because, oh, now there's offensive stuff on X when there wasn't before. You should see the vile shit that was said on X under the Dorsey administration there. They didn't give a fuck about any of that. It's not the rude comments. It's the fact that it's a place where they can't control the narrative. That's what they hate. That's why the Biden administration was pushing their disinformation czar. That's why they were collaborating with social media and putting pressure on them to censor people that were critical of them, talking about things like possible voting fraud, things with the pandemic. They don't want the Nick Shirleys of the world. They don't want this man that's with Nick Shirley. They don't want them to be able to reach an audience. Because then people might wake up to the blatant truth right in front of their face, that the system's irreparably corrupt in so many ways. They don't want you to know that. They want you to think that your local news channel would cover it if there was corruption, that the New York Times would cover it, or that Fox News, where the fuck are they? Meanwhile, they continue to siphon more and more and more off the backs of working Americans, while they import more and more people that will be reliable voters for the same bullshit. It's a fucking racket. The government gets bigger and bigger off your tax dollars that it gives to communities of people that fucking hate you, so they could vote for the government to get bigger, to take more of your tax dollars, to give it to more communities of people that hate you. And it continues on and on and on. We fund fucking PBS and NPR that hates conservatives. We fund fucking Ivy League institutions that hate conservatives. We fund NGOs that hate conservatives. We fund all of these welfare programs for fucking communities of foreigners that hate you. All the while your groceries get more expensive. And as soon as you're like, wait a minute, they're like, fuck you, racist, shut up. This is a racist conspiracy. Then when it finally comes out, they say, well, we did a good job of outing the fraud. We did. That's all there was. Trust us. How dare you suggest if there's fraud like this so blatant that there could potentially be voting fraud? I'm sure the same people that failed to find this fucking blatant fraud in Minnesota, they were really on the up and up, though, when it came to election fraud, right? They made sure those voter rolls, in fact, that's probably why they couldn't get to the bottom of this. They were so diligent in making sure the voting rolls were good, right?
Never seen a child here for 8 years.
Nope, not at all.
And how does that make you feel knowing that this place is receiving $1.9 million?
Disgusting. I mean, what the hell? They stealing the money. That's a federal grant, too. That's, if they get caught for that, it's a federal offense. I know, I studied law.
And do you think Tim Walz should go to jail for all the fraud that he's enabled here in his state?
That's him doing this? Well, heck yeah. He's got to be held accountable for this. I mean, there's no rhyme or reason what's going on here. It's simple. It's nothing there. It's a parking lot.
And look, they even spelled learning wrong on their sign for a place that's supposed to be educating children.
That's crazy.
And I mean, you do have to have a gallows sense of humor about it. Like I said last night, I'm going to start Rob's Mogadishu Daycare Center. What am I doing? Working. Hey, I love streaming for you guys, but I could just rake in millions fucking turning my basement into a Mogadishu Daycare Center, right? Don't worry, no one will ever check in on it, right? Capacity, 140 kids, 75 million. Sounds right. Right? I mean, it's a fucking joke.
I mean, who runs it? Who supposedly runs it?
Somalians.
Oh my god. Well, where? Yeah, it's just. I've never seen nobody here at all.
So how long have you been living here?
Since 2017. 2018.
You've never seen a single child walk in that building?
No, not at all.
So this daycare center is literally just a place to traffic money. $1.9 million just this year alone. And this guy's been living here for 8 years and has never seen a single child walk through those doors. There's no windows either.
No.
And the only window they do have, the door, is blacked out.
Yep, I see that. I've never seen anybody go in there.
Within just a few hours, we nearly approached $20 million in fraud, and we headed over to George Floyd's neighborhood to expose more of the fraud taking place.
This place is called Future Leaders Early Learning Center, and it's licensed for 90 children. And in fiscal year 2025, they received $3.6 million. In fiscal year 2024, they received $3 million. So in 2 years, they got $6.67 million, claiming they have 90 children every day of the week, 5 days a week.
I mean,
let's
these
find
people
out.
are making just about more money than NBA athletes.
And we don't even know if they're paying taxes, but we don't know where this money is going. Is it going to terrorism? Where is it going? But it's theft, it's fraud, and the reason I'm involved is I want it to stop.
Now, can you blame, though, the actual Somalian? If you lived in Somalia, again, they estimate $9 billion of these sorts of frauds that's going on in Minnesota for the Somalian community. And the GDP is like 12 billion or 13 billion in Somalia. You're going to be very poor. Or you can come to the United States, sit in your ass, and make millions of dollars. Pretty fucking tempting, right? It's surreal. Now, I know there's going to, like, how many times do you think you're going to hear this? Here's the two things you're going to hear from the left. But not all Somalians. Go fuck yourself. Obviously, we know that. Yeah, but white people do this too. What about rich people that commit fraud? Yeah, fuck them too. That's the telltale signs of people that are going to try to deflect from this.
I care about Minnesota. I'm doing this for the people of Minnesota. I don't make a dime off all this time I've spent on this. I put my life at risk several times, but I'm determined to see this through and to correct what is wrong, what is evil.
Here at Future Leaders Early Learning Center, this building received over $3 million. Hello, how are you? I would like to see if I could bring little Joey, my son little Joey here. Is there paperwork or can I check out the daycare? No? Why can't I check out the daycare?
Martin's not here.
Okay, but if I can I get paperwork or anything to submit my son little Joey to come in here to daycare? We'd really like to put Joey in this daycare. We've heard great things.
Looks like they have a painting of a tree there.
Business card?
No, I would like your business card actually.
You talk to your manager.
Okay, can I speak with somebody? Where are the children at? Are there children here today?
No.
No children?
Yes.
Why are there no children?
You're two of Mexico.
Would my son little Joey have friends to play with here?
No.
No.
Yes.
No friends for little Joey?
Yes. Sorry.
Ah, dang it. Well, have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
So, little Joey would not be accepted to that daycare.
Joey's still homeless.
Joey's still looking for
Well,
daycare.
there's supposed to be 90 kids there. No one's there right then. Admits the employee there. Not allowed to get a business card or something to inquire about sending a kid there. And then says, well, the next batch is coming at 2? I mean, what are the chances? Oh, at 2 o'clock, I guess 90 kids are about to roll in. It's blatant.
And because little Joey couldn't get into a daycare, we went to an autism center, as they have been popping up everywhere as a rise of autism has occurred here in Minnesota because of the government funds that they're receiving. I tried to check my son Joey into an autism center.
We've been going to a lot of these daycare centers. We're trying to find a spot for our little boy Joey, but we thought maybe we could check him into the autism center because none of the daycare centers are open. Yeah, and how many kids do you guys have at this autism center?
I can't give you a number now.
Like more than 5?
Probably, yeah.
Probably, so you don't really know?
Yeah, I don't really know.
What do you guys think about like the fraud that's been labeled on the autism centers here? What do you guys do think about the fraud, or how come the autism centers are popping up?
I can't answer.
What news? Are you a news reporter?
My name's Nick. We're doing a little documentary trying to find little Joey a spot to put himself in one of these centers here, because there's
So why are you asking us about like,
the fraud.
and stuff like that?
Yeah, because we want to make sure we're going to a legit business if we're going to bring our little boy Joey here.
This is not a Joey spot. Yeah. But that's our number on your bill. But this is we can't let you guys see. So.
Okay, thank you. So once again, little Joey, he can't even go to daycare.
Why is it not a Joey spot? Is it not Joey because he might be a white kid and white kids aren't welcome there and our tax dollars are going to? Or is he not welcome there because they're not taking care of fucking kids in the first place? Which one do you think it is? That dude knew.
And now they won't even accept him if he has autism.
And again, no kids. Couldn't tell you how many kids they serve.
After being able to provide no evidence of them actually being an autism center in a place where a child could go, they shut the door and we headed to the next fraudulent daycare center that was just around the corner.
We're on to the next location. We're still trying to find little Joey a place to go to get some daycare.
So where we're going now is a place called Super Kids Daycare Center. Interestingly, this daycare center was shut down when it was called Creative Minds Daycare, and it had received $2.45 million this fiscal year, 2025. They had to shut down because there were so many violations, and they went and they just reopened under a new license, and they renamed the center Super Kids Daycare Center.
I've seen shit like that happen in PA in my former line of work. Just change the fucking name, change the CEO, same operation.
Center LLC.
So they got shut down, then started another one.
Literally the next day.
Creative Minds Daycare, $2.45 million got sent to this daycare center. We have Empty parking lot. We do have a bus here. This is different. We'll see if we see anybody.
I knocked on the door. Absolutely nobody was inside. And once again, no children could be heard anywhere.
So David, once again, another child daycare center. We have a bus out here. No one's inside. Licensed for over 50 kids. No children anywhere. But yet, millions of dollars every single year.
So the sign says Creative Minds Daycare. They got in so much trouble, they had so many violations that they had to shut down, and they reopened the next day under Super Kids Daycare Center. You see 3801 Portland, 3801 Portland, which is where we are.
So that's fraud right there alone.
Millions and millions of dollars, and again, the kids are missing. Where are the kids?
You'd think if they had the same address, that whoever's inside or working at the Capitol here inside of Minnesota would just say, oh, maybe that's a red flag.
They just write the check. Human Services, they got to clean out the whole bunch.
I mean, again, and the point here, imagine that. Imagine, like, literally within a week, you shut a place down, you're like, there's too many violations, and they just pop back up, a different name, same location, and you're like, okay, start sending the millions again. No one said, whoa, 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 we're going to show up and make sure that there's actually kids here, you know. Nope. Oh, okay, they changed their name. Everything must be good. It's absurd. It's so blatant.
They're the ones who enabled this fraud. How can you not look and say, wait a minute, these two are registered at the same address?
On top of all of the childcare centers, that's just only a small piece of the fraud. What other fraud are they committing here in Minnesota?
So another major piece of the fraud is the home health care industry. Where we're going now is a building that has 14 Somali-owned home healthcare companies in the same building.
14 of the same healthcare companies in one building.
14 home healthcare companies with different names in the same building.
How bad has Tim Walz managed the budget here inside of Minnesota?
So the last biennium, we had an $18 billion surplus. This biennium, we have a $6 billion deficit. That's a $24 billion swing in one biennium. How in the world can you burn through $24 billion in 2 years? This is how, right here. This is a huge part of it.
And so would you say a lot of that is fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
Absolutely, I would say.
So again, Tim Walz, by the way, a guy who was this close to being vice president. Under his leadership, they go from a huge surplus to billions of dollars in deficit. Now they're estimating $9 billion. $9 billion of fraud on these issues alone. Now, I can tell you as someone who did home health care with adults with disability, I can't imagine how you would have 14 different companies under the same roof. How would that even be feasible? That's a joke. It's just blatant. And even if it is legitimate, even if that would be legitimate, you would expect that to raise some red flags that someone in the Minnesota government would be like, now, wait a minute. We're going to go check up with this because this is incredibly odd. Incredibly odd. But I bet we'll find out. Well, we didn't really, sorry. We were cutting the check. And again, everybody's going to plead ignorance. We didn't know. It's... And racism, by the way, racism.
Better than 90% of it is absolute outright fraud.
And a large percentage of this fraud is from these healthcare companies that are charging the state millions of dollars while they actually aren't providing anything. In fact, the FBI just did a raid a few days ago on a building similar to the one we are about to enter. Inside of this building, there were 14 of nearly the exact same businesses offering the exact same services.
Right here, you have a list of all of the healthcare companies. Loads of them right here. We want healthcare.
No, it's okay.
Yes, we'd like to speak about getting healthcare here.
No.
Why can't I get healthcare here?
No, wait.
Warning, you are under video surveillance. No trespassing, security armed. This is the strangest place I've ever been to get healthcare. Just a bunch of different places Healthcare here, healthcare right here. Another healthcare company right here. There are 3 healthcare companies inside of this building right here in this room of 7C. Now we have another Helping Hands, Home Care LLC, another healthcare company. Present Help right here. We're looking for the best rates of healthcare here inside this building because we have so many options. Who can we talk about getting the best healthcare?
I don't know.
No?
Sorry.
All right. We will not get any healthcare here. David, this is one of the stranger places I've ever been. Literally, healthcare every door you go to, yet nobody will give you a rate. How much money do you think's been funneled through this building?
Every year, I would say 50 to 60 million at least.
And finally, we were accepted into one of the daycare centers and they actually took down our information to give us a rate. However, when we left, we were then met with the police.
We received a complaint that...
I mean, amazing. They found a place that actually gave them a rate. You would imagine at some point there have to be Somalian children going somewhere. I mean, the birth rates in the Somalian community are something like 6 or 7, if I remember, per couple. Where the fuck are their kids going? Oh, right, they're not working, so the parents get to stay home with them.
Gentlemen, mentioning your description, we're in this building harassing the individuals who stay here.
Oh, we're checking out the rates for healthcare. Because there's 14 healthcare companies inside this building, so.
Okay.
Well, that's not what he said. He said there's 14 companies here, and he's trying to assume because they're Somali providers that everyone here is fraudulent.
Okay. So
he's here with some kind of like propaganda.
No, we're just checking.
No, this is a area that we're allowed to enforce trespassing ordinance. Is there any other reason that you guys are here?
Well, we were checking rates.
No, he's not.
We were checking rates. We asked for rates.
No, you're not.
Okay. I'm gonna have, if you guys are all good, we're gonna step outside and we can continue this conversation.
All right, let's leave. So, all right, we're getting escorted out right now. The police have arrived. We were checking out the rates, seeing what was happening inside this building. No one would really speak with us. We did go inside the one daycare center, and she actually...
And look, okay, the individual cop there, I get it. He gets called, he has to enforce the trespassing. But isn't that some irony? These places, the vast bulk of them, it seems like obvious corruption. The law's there to protect them, not you, not your tax dollars. Nope. Not there for that. And who gives a fuck anyways? One of the things that's so frustrating is, here's another talking point you'll hear from the Democrats. It's just $9 billion. We spend trillions in this country. Who gives a fuck? What's $9 billion? I can't tell you how many times I've heard that. When you talk about the scope of the fraud, the waste, the inefficiency of government spending, so what? We spend so much, who gives a shit? They demand to grow the size of government, to increase taxes, to destroy the working class with all these programs. Then once they get away with it, and you're like, but wait, there's too much, they go, why, you let us do it once? Who cares? What's a little here? Couple billion here, couple billion there. Who gives a fuck? Just give it to the Somalians. Come on, don't be racist.
Did give us rates for childcare. Much respect to that lady. What's the problem, officer?
Well, so again, we've been getting reports from multiple individuals that you guys were harassing individuals who work here. At the end of the day, this is private property, and it's one that people are allowed to ask you to leave, and it's also one the Minneapolis Police Department is allowed to enforce trespassing ordinance at this address.
Yeah.
So
as we got escorted out of this building, the Somalis filmed us as we left, and we headed over to the next building that had 22 of the same home health care providers operating from inside of the building.
Right here you have multicultural home care. And right here it says it's open, but can't even get in. Another Reliance Recovery Center. Mercy and Grace Care, Inc. Right here you have Den Eritrean Youth Development Association of Minnesota. Another child care center. Welcome to Bright Beginning Center. But what do you guys think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
Sorry. No comments. Can I please?
Right here you have Serenity Quality Care. All of these businesses are literally the same type of business, providing the same service in the same building. Another Convenience Home Health Care, Aid, Inc., and Child Friendly Space. All these companies get money from the government. Why would you have the same company essentially inside of the same building, door to door. Right here, Queenly Home Healthcare. It just does not make sense. If you're trying to operate a business, you'd want to have less competition. But here...
Right, that's exactly what I'm saying. So like the home health care, there are places in my little town that do this, adults with disability, but they're not in the same plaza. Why would you do that? It just doesn't add up.
They have all of their competition right next door. We're wondering, because we hear there's lots of fraud taking place here in Minnesota, and we're wondering, why is there so many of the same companies inside of this same building?
No, I don't know that.
What do you think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
I don't have any idea about that fraud, okay? That's it.
What do you think about the news articles and what's being spread on the news about the fraud?
Right now, you are doing something wrong.
I'm just asking you
No, you
about
don't
the
have
fraud.
to ask me, okay? Don't ask me that question again.
Okay.
Okay?
Who can I speak to? Who can I speak to? Okay. As soon as you confront about the fraud, they get angry. When these people have these home healthcare companies, you're seeing them everywhere inside this building. What kind of fraud are they committing?
So there's false documentation being submitted to the state of Minnesota for services never provided. They're having forms signed in advance for services that were then never rendered. As far as a year or 2 years in advance, they'll have someone sign these forms at one sitting, and then they just file those with the state of Minnesota, and nobody from the state of Minnesota bothers to check that those services were ever provided.
So they're essentially just using people saying that they had these services provided months or even years ago, then filing the paperwork and then receiving money from the government.
Right, and the Somali community is a very closed community, so everybody's in on it, and they don't want to talk, as you can see.
And for this building, I'm going to give an estimate of around $30 million for how much fraud is taking.
Now remember, this is just one afternoon that they went around. And granted, estimate, but over $100 million.
Place that is a very low estimate. However, still a lot of money in fraud.
And do you think there is fraud taking place here?
I don't know. Yeah.
Do you have any idea what any of these businesses are doing?
I never ask.
And now, with upwards of $100 million in fraud, we headed to one more daycare. And this one gets a little spicy as we get chased out at the very end. And after this, we'll be heading to the state capitol to confront the incompetent government leaders who have enabled this fraud to happen.
And I knew this video was going to be super dangerous to film because of obviously how hostile it is and as we are exposing legit fraud happening.
Right. You're talking hundreds of millions of dollars and people possibly going to prison if they would ever be caught. So clearly they're going to be hostile.
I did get security for this video, and I was able to do it through the Black Line Guardian. And if you guys want to help fund my security in the future, you can go down to the link down below. They're not paying me to say any of this. They came in and decided to help me out for this video. So you can go to Black Line Guardian, the link's down below, and click Guardian for Nick, and those funds will directly go to my security and future videos as we are exposing lots of things happening, and especially with this fraud. Like I said, they're not sponsoring this video. I'm just giving them a shout out because of how they helped me. So go down to the link down below, click Guardian for Nick, and let's keep going.
I will definitely be doing
that. Now, this child daycare center, this one's different than all the other ones we've been to. Tell us about this one.
This one is different because, according to the state of Minnesota, this 312 West Lake Street houses not one, not two, but 3 child care centers and is licensed to hold 102 children, and in fiscal year 2025 was paid $2.66 million by the state of Minnesota.
And this is the building right here. So this building alone made $2.6 million. Let's see if anybody's inside. Now we're inside of the building where there's apparently 4 child care centers.
We met this lady and we followed her to the back of the building where the daycare was supposedly at.
So right here we have 2 child daycare centers. We have the Minnesota Child Care Center, and then we also have Nuna. Between the two, $2.66 million. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Why are you recording?
Yes. We would like to know.
Well, it says we're trying to figure out 102 children. Is that for this facility?
What is the name? I see the
It's from the state of Minnesota website. It says you have 102 children here in your child care.
Which child care name is a lot of
Minnesota Child Care right here. It's from the state of Minnesota's website. We're just wondering where the children are.
Where the children are?
Yeah, where are the children? It says you have 102 children here, and you got $2.66 million this year in funding. and 2.5 million last year. We're just wondering where the kids are.
And who are you?
My name's Nick Shirley.
Nick Shirley.
And where are you? Which department? That is harassment.
Oh, we are from ourselves.
Yeah.
Hello, we'd like to ask where the money's going. Look at that. Shut us down. Where are the children at? No children inside of this daycare center. And look at this daycare center right here. No children inside of this daycare center. But between those buildings, over $2.6 million. We are just curious, where are the children at? Do you know where the children are at?
No.
Where are the children at in these daycare centers?
I don't have.
How come these childcare centers have no children?
I don't know. No.
There's $2.6 million inside these businesses that were given by the government, but there's no children to be seen anywhere. People deserve to know where their taxes are going. If these companies and these daycare centers are making upwards of $2.6 million and there's no children to be seen anywhere, something fraudulent is happening. And that is not.
And again, I just want to speak. It's a different thing, but when I did home health care, I worked for 2 different companies. And in both of those companies, if you showed up to their headquarters, now it was different. Those home health care, we were going out to homes that we rented or purchased for the clients, and we were working there. But we also had offices, and during operation hours, you absolutely could come in. In fact, it was encouraged because they were trying to get new clients. So if you had an autistic person in your family that you were looking for services, there was a phone number you could call where it would answer. You could come in person, meet with someone. Now, maybe someone's on lunch break or whatever, but it was an office full of people working that were happy to help you out because it was going to be more money for the company. Here it's the exact opposite. Go away. We won't talk to you. No, you can't get paperwork to possibly register a child.
Make you racist, Islamophobic. This is just the truth of what's happening here in Minnesota. If there's a bunch of white people doing the same thing, we'd be talking about the same issue. This is just fraud at unprecedented levels here inside Minnesota. It's actually very concerning. Where are the children at inside of these buildings? They're nowhere to be seen. Millions of dollars are being sent into these daycare centers all across Minnesota, and there's not a child to be seen anywhere. Here's another daycare center inside the same building.
We don't want you to be videotaping anything.
Where is all the money going for if there's no children at these daycare centers?
Sir,
Yes.
I told you, please leave.
Yes, we have a question though. Where is the children at these daycare centers if there's millions of dollars?
Ask the local government, yeah.
Oh, we've asked. We have the paper here. So we're wondering where the money and where the children are at. We have the paper right here. Come here.
Who are you, first of all?
My name's Nick Shirley.
You don't have any permission to record me, period.
Can we talk outside?
You don't have permission to record.
She doesn't either have. She doesn't have permission to record me.
You cannot stop people on the street and question them.
We can ask.
You don't have any permission.
Where are the children?
I will sue you. You don't have any permission. We have nothing to do with this. You
Okay.
understand?
Then are there
So
children?
leave. Please leave.
Are there children here?
Please leave.
Where are the children? $2.6 million for a daycare center.
You ask whoever you think is doing that. You don't know what you're talking about. So leave. Leave.
Tell us what's happening here then.
I said leave.
We're wondering what's
We
happening.
are not a childcare. We are nothing to do with it. We're common people walking. And
Yes.
You are.
We're not accusing you. We're asking where the children are at.
Don't ask me.
So he's saying, I don't have any affiliation here. I'm just a regular person walking through here. But you need to leave. Well, if he has nothing to do with the businesses or the building, who is he to demand that they leave? Clearly, he's implying that he has something to do with one of the businesses or management of the building. He's not just a common person. If he is, then who the fuck's he to say you can't record, you can't be here?
We're not accusing you. We're asking the daycare centers.
I am not going to answer. You have.
Where are the children at?
Leave. Leave.
We just want to know where are the children.
Who you work for?
My name's Nick Shirley.
Who do you work for?
I work for myself, Nick Shirley.
Okay, what are you recording?
We're wondering where are the children? $2.66 million for
You're not talking to
the
the
Minnesota
right person.
Childcare Center.
You're not talking to the right person.
Are there children that come here? Answer
You're
the
not
question.
talking
Are
to
there
the right
children?
person. Leave.
There's no children inside this
You
building.
don't know who you're talking to. Leave.
That's just a simple question. Where are the children at? David, they won't even answer. We asked him. Plain and simple. Where are the children? Do children come here?
This is why I've had my life. I've been attacked twice. Once with a knife, and the other time I was jumped last Saturday by 3 Somali men simply for asking questions about what was going on. And they're very, very violent people. They do not like this fraud to be exposed.
After giving this man plenty of opportunities to answer the simple question, where are the children, he called the cops on us and we headed to the state capitol where they're having a meeting about the fraud to
Now, let's read some super chats while we wait. Bob Tube TV. The job state is great. Oh, we did this one. Thank you, Bob. Bandit, $2 says, Spirit's going to love that ad for the AI. Bandit for 5 says, Rob, I'm an adult child. How much can I get from the government to watch myself? Claim you're from Somalia, and who knows? The sky's the limit. $2 from Bandit says it's not learning, it's leering. And then Bandit gives another 2, says that woman's Exhibit A for repeal the 19th. Anthony, AJC, so I can never pronounce your last name right, but AJC, thanks so much, $5. She reminds me of the NPC from The Sims. Yeah, the woman that was outside the Leering Center. Asbestos World, $5 says, people cheese about new media. This is what it looks like. Yep. Gavin Freenan, $20. Thank you so much. Says, I found out that a good 80% of employees at my warehouse are illegals. They send a portion of their earnings back to their country and make bank. All the while, I'm struggling week to week. This just has to stop already. Yep. They do not give a shit about you. They don't give a shit about you if you're white. They don't give a shit about you if you're black. They don't give a shit about you if you're Hispanic. They don't care if you're Republican. They don't care if you're Democrat. They do not give a fuck. If they see utility in importing a bunch of people from a different culture that don't even speak the language and allowing them to commit millions of dollars in fraud because it benefits their political aspirations, that's what they're going to fucking do. And if you speak up, it doesn't matter if you're white, black, or anything in between, you're a racist. Bandit, $5 says, I hope that guy has good security. My neighbor was assaulted in his front yard for trying to organize a protest for fraud by the Virginia Department for the Blind. Well, that's just what he was talking about. Zach Dennison, thanks so much. 10 gifted memberships, thank you. And then gives 20. Says, love the channel, Rob. Thank you so much. Bandit, $2 says, Tim Walz is Tim Kaine, only more gay and lame. Marky Mark, $2 says, but Rob, how could you ethically vote for Trump? BS, right? Boomer Slayer, $20 says Little Joey's cooked. Yeah, Little Joey, they ain't gonna find a place for him there, are they? Somalians don't give a shit. They don't want Little Joey. Bandit, $2 says irony of a police siren blurring as they walk out. Yep. Wagira, $5 says video doesn't disappoint. Even the second time through, Nick doing the work. He absolutely is. And he deserves all the accolades he's getting for this. Virgil Samliet, $5 says, did you see the guy investigating Wall's school lunch program had his place arsoned upon? It was something like that. Brian Shapiro, bad guy. I didn't see it. Yoshi, $5 says, free my dog Chair. Chair's doing just fine, Yoshi. And AJC says, Silea. There we go. Silea. Anthony Silea. AJC. I always just call you AJC. By the way, thanks for calling in the other day, man. I really appreciate it. Over on Rumble, our good friend Dirty Sippy Cup, thank you to all of you watching on Rumble. You guys are the best. Says, keep cracking it. Happy Christmas and Happy New Year. Thank you so much. Now let's get to the state capitol, shall we?
confront the state representatives and people in the government who have enabled and let this fraud happen. Inside of this committee, a Republican representative showed charts showing exactly how this fraud has been committed and who is profiting and connecting all the dots. And while the Democrat representatives looked into the abyss, one of them spoke about how none of this is building trust and how this is a nonpartisan issue, so I went and confronted her after that.
Yes, that's what I'm... He has some very valid questions to ask about what's going on here in Minnesota. And do you think this fraud
I don't know who
crosses...
you are.
My name is Nick Shirley. Do you think this fraud is Republican or Democrat, or just facts that fraud is happening?
I think the fact that
Because
you're talking about it as a partisan issue.
Well, because that's what I heard you talking about. That
I know what I said is that
because
what we're talking
we want
about
to build, we want to build trust, but fraud is fraud. So why should we be enabling fraud to happen here?
No, I don't think anybody is enabling fraud to happen.
Hold Governor Walz accountable for this.
Okay, sir.
No. This is not.
Sir.
When are you going to hold Governor Walz? No. She is a representative for the state of Minnesota. Yes or no?
Excuse me.
Yes. Are you?
If you're going to talk to me like that,
are you going to say to her, I'm a disability advocate?
I heard you, and
get
we've got a chance
overstimulated.
to testify.
No, ma'am. The facts are the facts that fraud is happening here. and it's not a nonpartisan issue. How come you think fraud has been able to happen so much underneath
I think
the
if you've
government
been
here?
listening to our hearings, we've had now 10 hearings on this. And so there's really good data from the people who both work within the administration as well as who, both Democrat and Republicans. I
Yes.
think what you heard today is that the Republicans who control this committee are not actually interested in solving fraud. What they're interested in is telling a story.
This fraud has happened underneath Democrat leader Tim Walz.
There has been Medicaid fraud across the country under Democrats and Republicans. There's fraud within the Trump administration.
See, it's like that guy earlier. But Trump! Democrats run the ship, but Trump! And you're not actually interested in solving this, and don't bring up the fact that it's predominantly Somalians that we're finding here. No, but Trump!
We have is fraud. Private providers have made government a mark. And so every person running government, Democrats or Republicans, are dealing with the issue of how to keep fraudsters out of our public payment. We're also dealing with veterans. We're dealing with consumers. I hope you're looking at that. If you look at United Health, currently is being charged with defrauding Medicare. You know who runs Medicare? President Trump. Medicaid fraud is a 50-state issue. And so, again, it is not a partisan issue. There are Democrats and Republicans who are sitting in that committee talking about it. But what you did here was the Republican chair say she's not turning information over to the one person in government who can stop payment. And I hope you print that. Thank you for coming today.
Okay.
Crazy.
Well, you saw what happened
The
there?
state of Minnesota that we live in, and these politicians are just walking off, thinking it's okay Tuesday, and they want to go visit the Trump.
It's very
they wanna
animated.
blame the Trump administration. We have Democrats blaming ICE. I'm tired. My people are suffering. I'm scared for my little brother. My people are suffering, and these people just walk off. We have a governor who fucking doesn't care. How many more people are gonna freaking die? How many more people are gonna go homeless? And how many more people are gonna be trafficked in our freaking system?
The guy was laying it on thick, but I agree with Imaginarium. I think probably what happened is he's probably partially autistic. And when you see people that rely on these services that are getting inadequate care while other people are stealing billions of dollars, you can see, particularly someone that's prone to autism or something, could get emotional in that sense. But sure, however you want to look at that portion of it. So there you have it. Why hasn't the media picked up on this story? Why did it take Nick Shirley, a YouTuber, to go do this? Why is it only now that it seems like politicians are like, oh yeah, we need to look into this? They couldn't figure out when there are buildings with 14 healthcare facilities, when there's daycare centers with no children that supposedly have 90 a day. They couldn't figure it out. They never bothered to check in. Couldn't figure it out. The reason the fraud persists and continues is because there is no incentive to end it. Because the people that are in positions to either do something legally about it or do something with the public discourse about it are happy that the fraud is going on. The Walz administration was happy that this was occurring. The media is happy that this is occurring. It allows kickbacks. It allows change in demographics, all shit that they're interested in. And what you'll hear from the other side is, oh, no, they were just incompetent. They didn't know to cover this story. They just didn't know. It's all just a misunderstanding. They didn't know that Joe Biden was cognitively declined. They just didn't know. The average media professional in this country is worse at their job than a fucking welder who turns on the TV a half hour a day that could see something was wrong with Joe Biden. than a 22-year-old YouTuber that could walk into these fucking places and go, where are the kids? Than an old guy who's just like, I have interest in this. I live in the area and I see what's happening. It's fucking crazy. I'm sure the voting's on the up and up, though, right? The voting rolls are all good. And it's not like this shit would happen in any other state or elsewhere in the country, right? Just this one isolated incident. Trust us. This woman, the Democrat woman in there at the end. Okay, if the fraud's so rampant, then why don't we massively cut back on the size of government spending? How about that? Until you learn to do something with the fraud. No, instead they'll say, well, so many people need the services, so we can't cut back on the spending. So if there's fraud, we just have to spend more. I'm looking for something here. I'm looking for an article I had here. Frustrating. So I played a couple weeks ago audio of Ellison. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see. One more chance. Here we go. Keith Ellison, Minnesota's Attorney General, could clearly be heard pledging his support to individuals who will soon become his family's campaign donors and later feeding our future criminal defendants. His recorded statements flatly contradict his contemporaneous public statements and raise uncomfortable questions about the intersection between political fundraising and constituent services. American Experiment has exclusively obtained a complete 54-minute, 44-second audio file of a private December 2021 meeting between Attorney General Keith Ellison and key figures in the Feeding Our Future scandal. 8 minutes, Ellison offers his initial thoughts. He describes his interventions when DHS Commissioner Jody Harpstead started at 8:15. Harpstead left her purse earlier this year. Ellison states on the recording that, quote, "We are in the middle of a battle with the agencies now." At 9:07, Ellison asserts that Walls agrees with me that this piddly, stupid stuff running small people out of business is terrible. What they're referencing is businesses being investigated by these organizations in the Minnesotan government. And Ellison, who is the top prosecutor, is saying, me and the governor, Tim Walz, agrees. We got to stop this. It's piddly stuff, running Somalians out of business. Again, some of the people at this meeting are ones that have now been indicted. At 9:22, Ellison could be heard drawing a diagram on a whiteboard. At 9:50, Ellison agrees with the proposition that there is a state agency discrimination against East African businesses, i.e. Somalians. Yes, it's discrimination against Somalians. He says, at 11:30, Ellison brags that just to be able to say, just getting the question, just getting the inquiry from the Attorney General is sometimes enough to make people knock it off. See, the Somalians that were engaged in fraud, go to the Attorney General. He says, I'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. We return to the tawdry subject of coin at the 13-minute mark, where Omar again offers his fundraising assistance to Ellison as a political candidate, apparently while sitting in Ellison's official government office. Give it a listen.
But we want to get really specific here. And I work in the political field and I understand very well how all this operates. And if I want to be frank, and I think everyone in this room wants to be frank, and this is a safe space, we're a collective in that sense. There is a fight, there's a battle in this state, as well as in this country, for communities that look like us, having to fight to protect and keep what we have. And the only way we can protect what we have is by inserting ourselves into the political arena, putting our votes where it needs to be, but most importantly, putting our dollars in the right place and supporting candidates that will fight to protect our interests.
That's right.
You can only protect our interests when we have your back and you don't have to worry about who's behind you, right? And we have to be frank and honest. You are dealing with market forces and political situations.
See? Hey, let's be frank. We're going to give you money. That's right, says Ellison. Beginning at 14:30, Ellison visitors start getting into the details of the big beef with MDE. Ellison asks his guests basic questions about the food programs, how they operate, specific complaints. Safari Restaurant is referenced by name for the first time at 1733. In 1836, Partners in Quality Care, Partners in Nutrition, and Feeding Our Future are first mentioned. Congresswoman Ilhan Omar's connection to Safari Restaurant is mentioned at 2110. At 2530, Bloomington's Adar al-Farouk Mosque is mentioned by name. Much of their beef against MDE would be heard years later, repeated the 2 courtroom trials held so far of the Feeding Our Future defendants. At 3038, Ellison erupts, saying, "This is the first time hearing about it." At 3708, Ellison says, "This has not come to my attention till now." These private statements in December 2021 completely contradict his September 2022 public statement where he says, Keith Ellison and his office have been deeply involved for 2 years in holding Feeding Our Future accountable. But wait a minute. 2 years, that would have meant that he was working on this in September of 2021. But here he is in the end of 2020, he would have been operating. But here he is at the end of 2021, almost some 2 years later, saying, oh, this is the first I'm hearing of it. At 3540, Ellison mentions the name Makfira Hussein as he apparently reads this May 2021 Sahan Journal piece out loud from his office computer screen. Makfira would later go on to become defendant number 48 and conviction number 35 in the case. Turning their attention to other state agencies at 3730, the visitors begin name-checking several other frauds plaguing state government programs. We hear of medical transportation, childcare, and autism clinics. Wouldn't you know it, those are all things that Nick Shirley was talking about today. The ask of Ellison begins around 4330. Specifically, the request is for him, in the Attorney General's statutory role as attorney for state agencies, to intervene on the behalf of these businesses subject to racist government overregulation. That's right, folks, you're hearing it here first. Child care centers that were receiving millions of dollars a year are pissed off at even the piddly little government oversight and said that even that much was racist. They're promising Keith Ellison, the top prosecutor, money. He's like, I'll get to the bottom of this racist bullshit. And lo and behold, the money continued to pour in. Just a coincidence, I'm sure, right? At 4426, Ellison assures his audience, of course, I'm here to help. And at 45 minutes, let's go fight these people. As the meeting's wrapping up, discussion turns to the date of the next get-together at 5437. Ellison could be heard mentioning the day's date, December 11th, and an upcoming trip to Colombia. Then the recording ends. On December 20th, Ellison accepted 4 major campaign contributions, $10,000, 4 times the max of $2,500. Donor 1 was Gandhi Muhammad, defendant number 69, and Ikram's brother. Gandhi has pled not guilty. Donor 2 was a man not mentioned above, whose voice could be heard in the December 11th recording, who's not been charged. Third donation was given by a man also not charged in the case, whose name was mentioned in open court during the most recent Feeding Our Future trial. The same day, Ellison's son, Minneapolis City Council member Jeremiah Ellison, accepted campaign contributions from Gandhi and Ellison donor number 2. In addition, Jeremiah Ellison accepted donations from Salid Said, Ikram's husband, and Gandhi's wife. Also giving were 4 others later indicted in the case. Exactly 1 month after that, in January 2022, the now famous raids were conducted, shutting down the operations of Feeding Our Future and Partners in Nutrition. I guess just a coincidence that the head prosecutor was like, yes, it's racism that they're looking into these autism centers and these child care centers. That's racist. And trust me, you're right, money's what matters. He's getting donations from them. I'll help you out. And millions of dollars kept flowing there. Isn't it nice how that works? But trust them. Now that the FBI raided, they'll say, oh, no, we were involved. The entire time we were cracking down on this fraud. Trust us, bro. Trust us. You know, it just slipped through our fingers. There he is admitting, Walls agrees with me, he says. It's all so tiresome. It's surreal. We cannot continue to go on as a country where these sorts of levels of fraud just become the norm. We are bringing in people that don't mesh with us culturally, that balkanize, that have insular communities, that are thriving off this fraud. And it's blatant and it's out in the open. And if this sort of fraud is this blatant, that you could go up and you could publicly see it, what else is there that's fraud? All you've been told, when you saw that little, like in the vote, like the mail-in vote, all these batches of votes came in the 2020 election. You saw the little arrow go up for Biden like that. And part of you's like, even me, part of you's like, but that's so blatant. That couldn't be fraud. It's just so blatant. Really? You don't think having daycare centers that 90 kids are supposedly at, and people are like, we've never seen one kid raking in millions of dollars. You don't think that's blatant? And they don't give a fuck. And here's the real bad part. Probably nothing will be done to 90% of these people. And the money will keep flowing. They'll change their company name and the money will keep right back going. That's right. Everyone's doing the fraud, so we can't really crack down on anyone, can we? We're going to mass import people from Muslim countries that don't share our values, that are going to have tons of children because they don't have to work, and they'll be able to live off fraud that'll be a drain on our system so that your children and grandchildren could wake up in a country that our generations have fucking failed them. And paid the very people coming in to displace our children and grandchildren. It's a fucking outrage. Some super chats. Bandit, $5 says they modeled a state flag after a foreign country. How can anyone think they hold citizens over foreigners? Of course they don't. Trey Sailor, $5 says maybe the public will pay attention once the Somali cells are activated if they haven't been already. Yoshi, $2 says Trump allowed this fraud. Shapiro, right. And Zach Kelpie, $10 says you can take care of the fraud if the surname Smith. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what the Trump administration... You don't think that there's a mandate to start fucking kicking in doors across this country? Again, I'm not suggesting the Trump administration do anything fraudulent. Every fucking dollar in state or federal spending that our tax dollars goes to ought to damn well be audited. And it ought to come with the flag that we're allowed to come check your books when we see fit. And it ought to start happening. And Republicans need to run on, if we are elected, we're going into these places. Now, they probably won't, but they ought to, and they ought to run on that promise. But again, I watched Project Veritas, or James O'Keefe, I think it was O'Keefe himself, do this with ActBlue. This was 2 years ago when O'Keefe first left Project Veritas. We won't watch, it's 10 minutes. We won't watch the whole thing, but this is what I'm talking about. It's blatant.
FEC data shows that some senior citizens across the U.S. have been donating thousands of times per year. Some of these individuals' names and addresses are attached to over $200,000 in contributions. We went and knocked on a few of their doors to corroborate the data that we received from a group of citizen journalists called Election Watch in Maryland. This is James O'Keefe with OMG. I'm here in Annapolis, Maryland. An individual who has donated a total of $217,000 made through 12,000 different contributions in a 3-year period of time. Now, sometimes these contributions...
12,000 individual times this person donated, according to the official records. Listen to that again.
A total of $217,000.
So they donated Nancy Doonan, $217,000 worth of donations.
Made through 12,000 different contributions in a 3
12,000 times to donate $200,000 something dollars.
Year period of time. Now, sometimes these contributions have been made in variations of his name and variations of his address. You see this chart here. This chart shows a breakdown of the committees that were earmarked to receive the donations made through ActBlue. And this is all FEC and state data. We're wondering if these donors are victims of what appears to be a money laundering scheme, or these residents actually participated in the scheme, or making phone calls, or knocking on doors, These are things that you can do. We hope you do that. Follow me along and see what happens.
Now, I covered this.
Something that you guys can do.
I covered this when it happened. Surprise, surprise, if I remember, most of these people are white. But I thought I only gave a shit because it was Somalians.
Very easy to do. A lot of homes with bizarre amounts of data showing tens of thousands of contributions made through different contributors here. So a lot of questions, and we hope the Citizen Journalism Army at OMG can answer them. This is an easy thing to do. Knocking on doors, asking questions. Get yourself a little microphone, get yourself a camera. You can use an iPhone. What we're going to do as citizen reporters is go back to the car and call them, right? We're going to call them. Get a few numbers to call. Contributed 3,000 contributions for $32,000. The FEC records indicate that you donated $32,000, 3,000 different contributions people made at this address in your name. Are you aware of that happening? You're not aware of that happening?
Talk to Donald Trump.
Talk to Donald Trump? Well, how would Donald Trump help me answer that question?
Hit him with a bat.
Hit Donald Trump with a bat?
No. Right over the head.
How would that help me answer this question?
It would certainly keep you in the news.
To do with
I want
it.
to see a scar on his fucking head. Now stop fucking with me.
Whoa. Whoa.
Cindy No of Annapolis, Maryland, who in the year 2022 allegedly contributed over 1,000 times to ActBlue, totaling $18,849.77. That means Cindy would have had to donate 3 times a day, every day for the whole year.
Hello? Hey there, Cindy. My name's James O'Keefe, and we're doing a story on the number of people that have donated with your address. Did you donate to ActBlue, a political cause? How many times a month do you donate to ActBlue?
I don't know. I don't know how many times. I don't understand why I'm getting this.
Well, the question is, you did donate to ActBlue, right?
Yes, once in a while, yes.
Did you donate 1,009 times?
I don't know. I mean, once in a while I donate $5 or so or something like that during election year.
What about $18,850?
I doubt that.
Not that many donations.
No, I don't think so.
The Federal Election Commission indicates that much money was donated to ActBlue and Biden for president.
I wish I could have donated $18,000 to Biden's presidency.
How much did you donate?
I don't know.
Order of magnitude.
Like I said, I donate $5 once in a while because I have various charities I like to give to.
You know people are using your address?
I don't think so.
So,
now this goes on. And what happens is it's people that legitimately donate once or twice, and then all of a sudden their name's running up $10, 4 times a day, 5 times a day. Now, Trump actually posted out in Truth Social the other day, it's time to look at ActBlue. Why wasn't this one of the first things that's happening? I mean, who in their right fucking mind is donating 4 or 5 times a day? I mean, forget about the dollar amount. Okay, I could handle that. Someone wants to donate $20,000 to ActBlue. You're going to do it in increments of $5, 4 times a day, every day of the year? No chance. Where's the investigations been? This was blatant. That's right. They're funneling numbers through their social security numbers. And it's better to do it to someone who already donated. Then it's harder to catch. Because when you go to them, did you donate to ActBlue? Yeah. By the way, you saw like that first guy. These are people that want Democrats to win. Sure, yeah, great, whatever. Leave me the fuck alone. Probably a lot of the money is foreign money. Because they're technically not allowed to donate. Or it's individuals that want to give over the legally allowed amount. So you funnel it through thousands upon thousands of people through small donations. But if they couldn't get on top of this when James O'Keefe's showing this evidence 2 years ago, what's the fucking chances that they're going to get on the Nick Shirley shit? That's what's so frustrating. I saw this, I covered this 2 years ago, before the 2024 election. In 2023, I did several shows on this James O'Keefe stuff. And nothing's happened. They did. They threw Dinesh D'Souza in jail. Yes. It is absurd. Zach Kelpie says, for $10, thank you. Says, the donations under $15 go unreported, so foreigner individuals get around by doing this. Right. Jim Bob's rating. Mr. Jim Bob, how are you doing, my good friend? We're talking about this Somalian fraud. And we were showing evidence that I think Nick Shirley does this fantastic job. He goes to all these daycares that are saying that they're getting $2.5 million a year because they have 90 kids a day. And then they show up to the daycares and there's never kids there in Minnesota, in all these Somalian communities. In one day, he went and did citizen journalism and found evidence of over $100 million of fraud. Just him and this old guy that he was working with. Now, what I'm talking about now, after we covered that, is this story from 2023 with ActBlue. James O'Keefe's going door to door. He's using FEC data to show these individuals donated like 6-7 times a day, every day, the tunes of tens of thousands of dollars. And he's knocking on their door saying, did you donate to Democrats this many times? And they're all like, no. This was in 2023. The evidence is overwhelming. Where's Pam Bondi? Where's Kash Patel?
Interestingly enough, she said she donates something like $5 a month. But we're getting kind of a pattern of reactions here as we do this. The woman was a very nice lady. She talked to us. So interestingly enough, it's even in a two-party consent state like Maryland, with the camera out in the open, people are still being honest. This is sort of new to me. Usually we use the covert cameras, but maybe the camera's a truth serum.
But does it sound about right that there's been 18,000 contributions?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
In the amount of like $170,000?
Absolutely not.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. So that's not you doing that?
No, it's not.
But does the frequency ring a bell that you're donating that much every like 10 times a day sometimes?
No.
No. Do you think someone is maybe fraudulent?
Look at this. All these donations, just like Zach Kelpie said, under $15. $10, $15, $15, $15. 4 times in one day. Not employed.
Debiting your accounts or something?
They must be.
Look at the 28th. She donates 15, 15, 5, 10, 10, 5, 5. All of that. She donates that many times. Writing $5 checks, $15 checks, 6, 7 times a day, every day.
Is the one I use for political donations. Yep. And I do not make that kind of political donations.
Right. So right here, it's 18,672 different contributions that total an amount of $170,000.221.
No.
So I'm about to call Garland Riggs. He's the excessive small amount donor. 31,073 individual contributions were made under his address. He's 80 years old. He lives on the outskirts of D.C. So many people across the country. I'm going to call him and see if I can make a contribution in his name and see how he responds. He's either a victim of some type of conspiracy or he's a culprit
himself. A lot of these phone numbers are available on white pages, on Google, and other apps where you can find people's phone numbers and information. Hey there, Mr. Riggs.
Yes.
James O'Keefe, just asking about those contributions we spoke on the phone. Have you donated to ActBlue in the past?
I don't believe so.
You're listed as someone who's given over 31,000 individual contributions to various causes for a total of $230,000 using your name in this address.
No, that's not us.
That's not you?
No.
Have you ever donated to ActBlue? Or
I think my wife has, but nowhere near.
are you aware that people are using your name?
No,
Have you donated to ActBlue in the past?
I don't believe so.
You're listed as someone who's given over 31,000 individual contributions to various causes for a total of $230,000 using your name in this address. How much did you donate to ActBlue?
So would you say 1,000 a year?
Probably not a thousand.
Not 1,000?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Would the FEC records say that you've given $230,000?
No.
It appears that someone else may be committing a crime using your address. I'll email you that information. The FEC.
Now, again, this is 2023. Where the fuck are the arrests? ActBlue continues to work unimpeded, funding Democrats around the country. So what's the chances when Nick Shirley points out this fraud that's going on in Minnesota that the Trump administration is going to act on it? We know damn well the Minnesota state government ain't going to do shit. It's so damn frustrating. And again, as I said earlier, where is the media? How are they not covering it? Why is it left to people like James O'Keefe? Why is it left to people like Nick Shirley? Why is it left to them? You know the answer. Because the media is happy with the situation. It's a big club and you ain't in it. They're all getting part of that gravy train. And where's it coming from? You, the working class people. Until people start to be held accountable, not just the Somalians, the people that are putting them up to it, the politicians that are allowing it to occur, until they are held accountable, it will not stop. Zach Gelpy runs Maine First Project up there, fighting this sort of corruption. $10 says the Dems in Maine have a crazy money funneling scheme, using the Clean Elections Fund to do so. Sometime I would love to talk about that as well. I'd love to have you on. When you see this evidence over and over again and nothing gets done, it's designed to demoralize you. It's right out in the blue. Again, I'm not going to recover it, but go back and watch that Nick Shirley video. They're literally daycare centers saying 90 kids here a day. All of the windows blacked out. People there are like, we've never seen a kid come or go from this place. They got 2.5 million last year. It's blatant. They couldn't even spell the word learning correct on their sign. It says Leering Center instead of Learning Center. And they'll get away with it too. Oh, I'm sure it was just a big misunderstanding. You know, let's change the name of the company and then they'll be right back to work next week. Every government dollar spent is subject to this. I'm not saying every dollar is fraudulent, far from it. It's clear that's not the case. But there's already a problem with the government being inefficient. Then we have a problem with them blatantly giving to causes that are antithetical to our way of life. Like NGOs to attack Christians, or places like NPR or PBS to attack conservatives. Then we have the fraud. You think it's just Medicare, Medicaid fraud? You think that's it? It wouldn't reach to food stamps? Nah, that wouldn't be fraudulent, right? Social Security? No fraud possible there. It's just this one issue in Minnesota, right? That's it. How about voting? No fraud. Perish the thought. That shit will get you censored on a place like YouTube circa 2021. All right. We'll be wrapping up this fine evening. Now, this is the time of night where generally people would donate like $50 to play these stupid-ass whip songs, which I am so over. However, thanks to the great Lavin, who donated $200, I won't have to hear any whip songs tonight unless someone donates $200 to end them. Some point this week, I should be talking to the great Sam Tripoli. We'll be discussing Word War, the debate series that's coming up here, January 10th, that I'll be part of. Should be a lot of fun. David Moore, $20, says, if states run by elected Republicans are so reluctant to investigate and prosecute election fraud that it's on video for the world to see, what hope do we have that the system will ever prosecute? Yeah. I mean, sadly, what it's going to take is generations of people like Nick Shirley and James O'Keefe making the public so outraged that they decide to start getting off their ass and primarying people. And by then, who knows? The fraud will be entrenched so deeply. Tripoli's not great. Well, I'm sorry you feel that way, Spalding. Not everyone's for everyone. It's all right, Spalding. You don't have to apologize to me. I'm not for. I know people don't believe that, but not everyone likes me. Crazy, I know. Absolute craziness. We will find someone fun to raid here, though. That we could do. Now, I should be streaming at 10 p.m. tomorrow evening as well. I don't see anyone on. Well, then maybe we won't raid. Unless anyone has any suggestions. No one's showing up on my feed. I hope you all had a great Christmas. I did, and I hope that you really took a moment out to remember what the season's about. Look, gifts are fun. I have a 5 or 4-year-old, almost 5. Giving the presents and stuff was absolutely fantastic. Myron Gainesville? Yeah, we'll raid Myron. It's wonderful. It really is. And I can't, I'm so lucky to be able to spend time, but just to take a moment out and think of what it's actually about. The birth of Jesus. Truly, for me, it's a time to remind myself over and over again of just how lucky I am. And I can't, I just don't, it's not fair. It's not fair to everyone else. And I don't feel that I'm a particularly good person or anything that deserves all the blessings I've had in life. But man, I'm sure happy to take them. So I had a tremendous time, and I hope you all did as well. I really do. New Year's Eve is my wife's birthday, so I will be, I'll be probably not streaming that evening, though we don't have any crazy plans. Last year, we watched movies with my son. It'll probably be something very similar to that. So we're not really big going out to the bar. I tried to ask her. I said, you want to get some of your friends together? We go out to the local bar or something. She's like, no, not interested. So, but I probably won't stream New Year's Eve. Thank you so much to everyone who donated today. Now, I was hoping to get to at least 200% of the goal. That's what, like $200 more dollars. It'd be $200.80. That's fine. If we don't get there, I mean, look at this guy. What was I going to do with an extra $200.80? Look at these man boobs. Probably buy more unhealthy food. Listen, I've been losing weight. I've been eating pretty good. I'll admit I faltered a little over Christmas. One too many Christmas cookies, but I've been doing very good. Sticking to basically just like vegetables and straight meat. Trying to keep bread out of my diet. Again, this week's not been the best, but I'm trying to be serious, and it's something that I'm committed to doing. I don't want to be a fat bastard. I have a son that I want to be active for, and so I'm trying my best to routinely exercise and to eat better so that I could be there for him as he's getting more and more active. So I am getting better in that. So if you do donate $200.80, I'm going to try to not spend it on garbage food. So we are going to be rating Myron. I hope you guys enjoy this raid of Myron. Please consider checking out Word War Debate over on X. We'll be doing some stuff with him later in the week. We'll have the final card put out. We will be doing a show with the folks at Word War. I am working as the debate architect there. I'm doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes, setting up the debate format, the specific wording of the topics, all of that good stuff. So it should be very good. Thank you so much to Jim Bob for the raid. Thank you to my good friend Avarice, who wasn't here today, but thank him. And thank you to Black Elk, my tremendous editor, who's been doing a tremendous job while I've taken these following days off for the holidays, and he's been putting videos up that he's edited. So thank you so much to him. Thank you to everyone who's donated. You guys are the best. It's humbling that you all donate so much to me and allow me to keep doing this as my job. And it's really an amazing feeling. And me and my family thank you from the bottom of my heart. So we're going to raid over to Myron. I hope you enjoy it over there. Take a minute, as we're a few days out from Christmas, to remember the great Charlie Kirk. A man who not only did so much for the conservative movement, but was a great husband and a great father, who was assassinated and then mocked by so many people on the left, and then his wife mocked. And never forget the stakes of what we face of these people that'll laugh at you if you're murdered, that will make fun of your wife. Don't forget that tragedy. It's cliche to say, listen, oh yeah, Charlie, we miss him. Don't forget that. Don't forget. And so take a moment out, just 1 minute here today, and just pray for Charlie and his family. And please remember that. Don't leave his memory fade. And the people that celebrated his murder rewrite history. So God bless Charlie Kirk and his family. God bless you all. Enjoy this raid of Myron Gaines. We'll see you all around 10 p.m. tomorrow night. And as always, have a good one.
Only in America is it possible to say, you know what, I don't like the way the country is going, and to do something about it. Take that risk. Take that leap of faith. Stay involved. Trust God and act obediently. Romans 12:2 verse. That God will use all things for good for those who love him. It's bigger than you. I want you to remember that. It is bigger than you. It's bigger than me. You are here to make somebody else's life better, the pursuit of liberty and freedom. You know what gives me strength? The hundreds of thousands of you that say, Charlie, keep going.
1 Corinthians 5 and 15. So that's all pretty amazing evidence, not just intra-biblical evidence, but extra-biblical evidence that Jesus Christ was a real person. He lived a perfect life. He was crucified, died, and rose on the third day, and he is Lord and God of all.